Counts, Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Liam Peace with you here today. The Jason Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. You can use promo code Gregor50 and get a $50 free bet with your deposit. Make sure to use your game sense as well. And of course, you can always reach us at the eWell inbox, 1-833-401-1440. Score with your power play partners at eWell. Get your electrical needs at ewell.ca with 24/7 ordering and shipping in Edmonton and across Alberta. And a ton of things to get to on this show today. Of course, it's game day. The Oilers taking on the Detroit Red Wings down at Rogers Place tonight. That means we got pregame coverage from 6 till 7 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. We'll talk some Red Wings with Larry Murphy, one of the greatest to ever do it. This guy had an amazing career, a Hall of Famer, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, and he's a Detroit Red Wings analyst. So we'll talk to Larry coming up in about 15, 20 minutes time. We're also going to be joined by Colton Iwaschuk. He is the Oilers e-bug. And talk about how it happens. You know, what's your game day routine? Do you think there's really a chance you're going to play? And when it happens, like, what a rush. How did it happen? That's what we're going to talk to Colton about. 3 o'clock, we'll open it up. 3:20, Dave Naylor is going to join us. He was down at the AFC Championship game when the Chiefs knocked off the Bills. So we'll talk a little NFL, but also CFL free agency that's going on Sunday. So we'll talk to him about who he thinks could be cashing in and which teams are going to be the big spenders. Also his thoughts on Ed Hervey taking over as GM once again for the Edmonton Elks. Really want to see what his strategy might be. Gregor's talked about it a few times. Maybe not big money at receiver, but big money could be spent elsewhere. Colin Livingston, unsure. A little bit under the weather. We might get to Livingston, depends. But we'll have Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period joining us from Tampa as the Lightning taking on the Kings. He'll be live from the rink, and we got Spec at 5. Plus, we'll hear from members of the Oilers. Tons of things to get to on the show today. We might not even have time for Terry Rozier and Justin Tucker. In case you missed it, Wanye, I don't know if you heard about those stories. Terry Rozier being investigated for potentially, I don't want to say Jonte Porter type stuff of the Raptors, but might have been, what's the opposite of padding stats?
Oh, no. Shaving
points, things of that nature. Allegedly being investigated for that. Justin Tucker, in case you missed it, just search his name on X. Think Deshaun Watson. And it's not a good situation for the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm pulling up X as we speak.
Yeah,
everybody.
You can take a look at the memes if you want. It's getting the meme treatment right now. We'll accusations for the time being. We'll let the process run its course there. The Edmonton Oilers in action tonight. John Klingberg will make his debut for the Edmonton Oilers on a pairing with Darnell Nurse on the right-hand side. He hasn't played a game in the NHL since November 11th, 2023. Spec earlier had the surgeries going back to when he was like 18, 20. Never really played in the NHL pain-free. Now says he's pain-free. So for me personally, maybe low expectations, high hopes. I hope it really works out for him. Lines at practice or expected tonight for the game. Nuge with McDavid and Connor Brown. Second line will be Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Arvidsson, Skinner, Enrique Hyman, the third line, and the fourth line. Philip out to the wing, Janmark and Perry on the back end. Like I said, Nurse and Klingberg, the second pairing on paper. Ek, Bush, top pairing. Kulak, Emberson with Skinner getting the start. First time since the birth of his second child. So that's going to be fun. Should be a good game. All eyes going to be on Klingberg. I would think the Detroit Red Wings rolling into town, playing some good hockey since Todd McClellan took over. 11-4-1. Right back in that playoff race, just a couple points back. Should be a fun one down at Rogers Place tonight. I'm wondering if our good friend Kate Gullickson will be down there. Huge Red Wings fan. Got to think she'll be there. Connor McDavid going to wear the A for Team Canada at the Four Nation face-off. Sidney Crosby, no surprise, will be the captain for the team. Cale Makar also going to rep a letter as the alternate captain for the United States. Austin Matthews will be their captain. You captain the Leafs, you got to captain the States. That's how it works. Victor Hedman will be the Swedish captain, and Alexander Barkov gets the C for Finland. Cool news for Matthias Ekholm. He'll be a part of the leadership group as well as an alternate. So lots of news going on here. And then Wanye, you saw the quarter century team, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's some controversy there. Maybe some recency bias. For those who might have missed it, maybe you're just tuning in. Shout out to everyone watching on YouTube as well. Love your comments. Hit the like button. The first team. Now, this is going from 2000 to 2025. Quarter century. Top team. Draisaitl, McDavid, Nuge. Defenseman, Bouchard, Ekholm. Oh, sorry, not Bouchard, Ekholm. Why did I write Ekholm? Who's the other defenseman?
Bouchard, Nurse.
Let me correct that in my notes. Thank you. Dwayne Rollison, goalie. Second team, Alex Hemsky, Shawn Horkov, Ryan Smith, Matthias Ekholm, Jason Smith, Gator, and Tommy Salo. A couple names come to mind for me personally. Doug Waite, although in the year 2000 and forward, it was just 1 year, so he didn't play too much time. Chris Pronger, we're just talking impact on a team. Seems like he could have been there, but it was just 1 year. Matthias Ekholm, we're just coming up on 2 full years. Whose impact was bigger? I would say Chris Pronger. So if it's me, the more I talk about it, I think he probably deserves to be there. But overall, an okay team. I think Shawn Horkov, because he was here for the entire Decade of Darkness, a lot of people kind of dismiss what he did. But he was a good player, was a captain, was the fastest skater at an All-Star game once. What were your thoughts on the quarter century team? And I also invite the texters and the commenters on Facebook and YouTube to let me know their thoughts.
When you look at the second team, right? I believe you were of the same type, Connor. I was super heavily invested in these lineups, extremely invested in how is Shawn Horkov going to do? How is Taylor Hall's impact going to be? We've been at this for a while. You could show me, I don't know, pick the year 2010, the second team All-Stars. I'd be like, what on earth? Who are the first team All-Stars? Who plays for this team in the future? And if you could show the photo to yourself in 2010 and explain to yourself who Connor McDavid is, explain who Leon Draisaitl is, we have an embarrassment of riches. The thing that struck me when I looked at the all-quarter century team was I was like, man, this first team's as good as anybody in the league gets. And that's an incredible thing to have had happen in the latter half of the last 25 years.
I might consider swapping Nuge for Ryan Smith and putting Smitty on the top team. Now, Nuge, granted, did have a 100-point season, which probably helped him. Maybe there's some recency bias. I don't know. But, overall, I don't have too many complaints with it. Mitchell, and they haven't won a thing.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Negativity. Rage Sexter B. Where is Pronger? Yeah, that's kind of the one I'm looking at. No, you don't like it?
No, we don't want Chris Pronger on the all-quarter century team after one season, and you know how it ends. No.
But Ekholm's only played 2 seasons.
If you're remembering the best girlfriends that you've had of your entire life, do you go back to that one lady who dumped you a week into the relationship? And you're like, but what a week? Or do you have pettiness and say you aren't on the team, Chris?
I mean, you can be petty. It opens up, and I discussed it with Donovan on Fantasy Frenzy. It's like Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. 1 year, load management, but without him, they don't win a championship. What's his legacy? Does his number get retired? Does he get a statue? Does he get anything? Is it just because it was 1 year hold him back? I don't know.
Statues, man, are reserved for the immortals. I don't think statues should be every team shouldn't have a statue out in front of their building. I don't think that's, you know what I mean? Gretzky has a statue. That's probably it. Will Connor get a statue one day? Will he insist Leon stand beside him? Maybe there's 2 more. The ice district is vast. But who they have in LA? Who has a statue in LA? And it's just
Dustin Brown?
Yeah, what? Why?
He captained them
they
to
won 2
championships.
Okay, lots of teams win 2 championships. That doesn't mean you get a statue. You need to be like Ronaldo or Beckham to get a statue. I don't think we should just be the statue salesman. They want that. They want everyone making statues, but I'm not for it.
There's a lot of bad statues out there. I like the idea of having lots of statues. So you can just walk down the street and see all these statues and remember the history, like Art Ross, Keep it going.
Put them in the walkway out and then make their eyes glow. So when the Oilers come out, they walk past the statues of all the captains.
Blinking and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't mind it. As soon as I mentioned Kawhi Leonard, Declan, I saw you turn your mic on. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I just had to chime in and say Kawhi Leonard did more for that franchise in 1 year than anyone else did in the history of the franchise. I don't know how you can't give him some type of honor, whether a statue, jersey. He did more in 1 season than Vince Carter, Chris Bosh, Tracy McGrady, Kyle Lowry, who was on that championship team, to be fair, DeMar DeRozan, than they did. He achieved the pinnacle when they all couldn't. And I know Kyle Lowry was on the team. He was a clear second fiddle. You could even argue third fiddle in that playoff run based on how Pascal Siakam played. So listen, it's about winning championships. And even though you're there for only 1 year, when you do that, when in the rest of the franchise's history, you can't get it done, I think you need to be honored in some way.
Legends don't dip. They don't go to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup and then leave. They don't go and win the championship, have that cool photo where the whole town can be seen in their glasses on stage, and then leave. That's not how legends behave.
I mean, yeah, like we got a text here, Delta Valley Jeff. Not a chance, Declan. Vince Carter literally created a basketball fan base in Canada.
Vince Carter was cold as hell.
Don't
get me wrong. He deserved to have his jersey retired as well.
It's not just Vince, though. Steve Nash's success was huge for it as well.
Yeah.
Around the same time.
For sure. Steve Nash did a lot for basketball in Canada as well. But Vince, like, the thing with Vince is he didn't even have like a little success playing playoff basketball in Toronto. 2 playoff appearances his entire time in Toronto, which was what, 7 seasons?
He got to the second round, beat the Knicks, took Philly to Game 7. Philly did go to the final that year. And if he just settles for a 2-pointer rather than a 3-pointer, maybe they win that game.
6 seasons putting up 20-plus points, 3 of which I believe he had 25 or more. 2 playoff appearances in that whole time. 1 a first-round exit in 3 games. The other, like you said, second-round exit in only 12 games. Like
he took the Sixers to 7. Come on. That was prime AI, Declan.
Okay. Hey, he was still there for, what about the other 5 seasons he was there?
Yeah, hey, tough game, no doubt.
I'm just saying, Kawhi was there for 1 year and won a championship. He beat the Kevin Durant, Steph Curry Warriors. I know Kevin Durant was injured, but still, that team still won a championship without him.
You know,
like, I'm sorry, we can't possibly sit here and say Vince Carter had more playoff success than Kawhi Leonard.
No one's. I don't think anyone's.
Okay, I thought they're saying who had a bigger impact on the franchise.
Impact was, and you know what?
Vince was a bigger impact.
Vince never.
I'll give you that.
Vince never had the cast, right? Like the Raptors built up a pretty good team. Vince had Jerome Williams, Morris Peterson.
Mo P was kind of nice. I don't know.
I loved him, but I don't know.
The team wasn't the same.
Hakeem Olajuwon at a really old age.
But that Toronto team was getting run into the ground by LeBron every year. Then Kawhi came and said, I would say this.
But added a few players.
Vince certainly had a bigger impact for Canada and Toronto basketball. 100%. I agree with that. Kawhi did what you play the game to do in 1 year, what Vince couldn't do in 7.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think anyone in their mind is comparing those 2 players at their peak in terms of ability, Kawhi to Vince. Like, maybe it's not even close, right? So
Vince was cold, though.
I don't think Vince was ever going to carry a team to a championship like Kawhi could. And Kawhi brought in that mindset too, right? Yeah. Like, they lose a game, they don't care. They win 3 games, they don't care. It's like, we just got to play tomorrow. Kind of boring.
And Kawhi hit the shot. Oh, and that's got to be top moment franchise history by a long shot.
Yeah.
Like, that's something.
But Vince Carter putting his arm in the rim made me a Raptors fan.
Really?
Yeah. I watched it. It was cool.
I remember the opening night of the Raptors when the dinosaur came out because I was a little kid. I was like, this team is going to be awesome. I thought the dinosaur was on the team. I was very disappointed to realize it didn't play for the team.
I want to reiterate again. This isn't supposed to be anti Vince Carter. This is supposed to be pro Kawhi being honored.
Not the start I envisioned to the show.
What's going on here?
Oh, wicked.
Something's happening at the mall right now. We'll keep going because we fight through it.
Oh, yeah. We'll die in the air.
We'll lock that door if we have to.
Right,
if anything's going crazy.
Yeah. We'll throw them LP Smooth if they insist on getting somebody.
LP Smooth will have to go block the door. Dawson says, should Pat Maroon get a statue instead of 3 headquarters for winning 3 Stanley Cups in a row? I mean, let's not compare what the big rig did for like what Kawhi did by any means, but yes, Kawhi definitely deserves something. We don't win without him. We don't win with DeMar Husks. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Declan. They weren't getting past LeBron in the Cavs without Kawhi Leonard. It just wasn't going to happen. Even without Kawhi, like, do they beat Philly? Probably not. Took Kawhi's efforts to really push them over the top there. Big statue punching air right now from Seamus.
So cool.
You're really taking shots at the big statue.
That's right. Now the alarm went off in the mall because I was lipping off the statue industry. They're striking back.
Getting to the second round one time gets you the captaincy of the national team in hockey. Ooh, Mitchell.
Ouch.
It's true. It's true. Austin Matthews dig right there. Perplexed Oilers fan. I would definitely try to get Miller for a playoff run and then trade in the summer for a different center. Miller as number 2 center allowing Draisaitl to play with McDavid would be elite, or even McDavid, Draisaitl, Miller down the middle. Gives tons of options. Best team ever. Better than the 84 Oilers. We're talking JT Miller here. Was that? I don't know if that was something that was brought up previously with Low Tide or anything like that, but that would be something. Nicky Northside agreed. Kawhi gave me the greatest feeling ever. As a fan from day one of the Raptors, I truly believed we would never sniff the finals. Yeah, Declan, you're not a Raptors fan. So
in fact, I'm a Heat fan, but I'm also a Jimmy Butler fan. So when Kawhi hit that shot, Jimmy Butler was obviously on the team and on the court. Just shattered me, man.
I am a Raptors fan. Grew up a Raptors fan. Like, remember those playoff games with DeMar and Kyle, like knowing in the back of your head, like they're not going very far, but maybe they will. And then like bow out first round to Brooklyn and their aging superstars. It was tough. Walter says, what's Vince had a bigger impact? ? What's more impactful than winning the LOB? Yeah, well, he did it in 1 year. Probably got a ton of new Raptors fans. Vince Carter really helped grow the game. I mean, they both did a lot in terms of helping basketball in Canada, winning the championship. Massive. Southside Ace, first time. Texter, Kawhi achieved the most. He should get a statue, but not retire the jersey. Vince put eyes on the Raptors. LeBron was also gone to the Lakers. Oh, in the later one. Southside Ace, just going to get you in the system. Appreciate the text. Really do.
We can't be giving statues to people who haven't had their numbers retired. Come on now. If you've got 20 numbers in the rafter, you should maybe have a statue. Probably not.
Seems like everything's just kind of being devalued these days. Players get in the Hall of Fame. They're just okay. Okay. Good. Very good. Maybe not great.
Just okay.
People have these return to Edmonton videos that really tick them off because the people think they don't deserve it. That one I couldn't care less about. It's a video. Let them have a video. Whatever. But yeah, statues and retirement jerseys. It's pretty prestigious. Can't just be handing them out.
I think you have a hard time saying that someone's number should be retired if they haven't won a championship.
It's tough to win championships.
But should
you can do a lot for a franchise. And okay, let me pitch this one to you. If Connor never wins a championship, should he not have his jersey retired?
He could not win a championship and still be first ballot Hall of Fame.
Okay, so could a lot of guys.
Who? First ballot?
Carmelo Anthony will be a first ballot Hall of Famer
In the NHL?
Oh, I was talking
Joe Thornton.
Joe Thornton, Jerome McGinley,
yes. There aren't.
Was Eric Lindros first ballot?
That's a good
Because Jerome definitely deserves to have his jersey retired.
100%.
Joe as well. So I don't think you got to win championships. Yes, but you can get a jersey retired without it.
I just think, just in terms of statues, it'd be cool to have like a Oilers Hall of Fame and just have a bunch of them. Joey Moss gets one, Grant Fier, Glenn Anderson, just a little name bar underneath.
Here's the tiers for me. Statue at the top, number retired to the rafters, Ring of Honor, appreciation night, video when you return to Edmonton when you play as a member of the opposition. Those are the levels of the iceberg.
Hey, I got one for you guys. If you don't mind, would you rather be in the Hall of Fame or have your jersey retired and get a statue by the franchise you played for?
I feel like it's all going to happen if it's going to happen, but give me the statue. Give me the statue in the hall. I want to be the man in a city.
Me theorizing what I would do if I was good at sports, Declan, is probably not that apropos, but I'll give it a go. I'd sooner be a legend in my town than a Hockey Hall of Famer.
Last text before we go here. Mark Spector and Jim Matheson got Lowe's number in the rafters. I'm going to tell Spec that. Game's in from Alfred. That's power.
That's power,
That's
baby.
Power in the city. We will take a break. When we come back, we are going to discuss the Detroit Red Wings who are in town with Hockey Hall of Famer, a legend, Larry Murphy, Red Wings analyst. You're listening to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 or watching at Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. The show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports 20.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tank. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
It's the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. For 4 days only, they're extending their VIP offers to everyone. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, bedroom, and dining. Save up to 40% off mattresses. And get a 10% credit to use towards sleep accessories. Save up to $1,000 off major kitchen appliances. Up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus VIP in-store only deals on appliances and electronics. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Alberta's largest RV sale is back.
The Edmonton RV Adventure Sale and Show.
Powered by Aviva Insurance.
February 6th to 9th at the Edmonton Expo Center.
Discover over 350 specially priced RVs.
From trailers and fifth wheels to diesel pushers and toy haulers.
New this year, the Ask an Expert booth.
Plus, the lifestyle marketplace with local vendors.
And don't miss the world-famous Super Dog.
It's fun for the whole family.
Tickets at rvda-alberta.org or at the door.
The Edmonton RV Adventure Sale and Show.
Find your wherever home.
Say he likes a good time.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I said if you kiss me, I might let it happen.
Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz with you. Declan Kruger, Liam Peace keeping us on track as well. Edmonton Oilers game day in action tonight, taking on the Detroit Red Wings. With that, we're going to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's presents a hockey showdown for the ages. McDavid versus Matthews. Find out who's the best and try some top-line menu items too, like the Smoky Quarter Poppy or the Big Mac David. The showdown menu available at McDonald's right now. We got a drop-off a little while ago. Very, very good. Go check it out. Right now, we are joined by Hockey Hall of Famer, a 4-time Stanley Cup winner, one of the best to ever do it, and Detroit Red Wings analyst Larry Murphy. Larry, thanks so much for hopping on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, gentlemen.
Thank you for doing this. We'll just quick rundown here of the Detroit Red Wings as they get set to take on the Edmonton Oilers. And the Red Wings playing very good hockey since Todd McClellan took over. 11-4-1 since the hire. What has he done that's been able to turn it around so quickly for the Red Wings?
I think he's instilled confidence and energy into the lineup. Playing much more assertive, a lot less hesitation in their game. And now with the victories, they've built on the confidence part. So things are moving along quite well. Plus, some players have taken advantage of the new coaching situation, the opportunity that it presents itself. Marco Kasper's probably the first one that jumps to mind. The rookie is playing up in the top line and has been extremely effective. And it's just a team that plays with a lot more energy now, and with the belief that they can outplay any team in the league. Of course, they're not thinking that they're going to walk away with the Stanley Cup, but they think now that they've got themselves to a position where if they bring their best, then they've got a good chance to win.
Yeah, and they're just 2 points back now of Tampa Bay for that final playoff spot. The Lightning do have a game in hand, but the way the Red Wings are playing, plenty of room on the runway here for them to catch up. Have you noticed a change, just the vibe around the team, kind of coinciding with their hot play now?
Yeah, it's the body language. That's it's that comment that you hear quite often, and the team carries itself with a lot more confidence and a lot more jump, a lot more life. It kind of feeds upon itself, success and the belief. I mean, that's part of it. You need ability, of course, and you got to go out and execute. But believing that you can do it is a big part of the equation. I think that's starting to grow with this team. And I mean, they realize the situation they're in. You pointed out that they're just behind Tampa for that last spot, but it's a crowded field, the Eastern Conference, and you had a team like the New York Islanders that were left for dead a while ago. They've gone on to win the last 5. They're back in the hunt now. So for the Wings, they realize that they can't afford to go into the tank. They can't pause. They basically, with the coach change, they've got to consume 4 out of every 6 available points. They got to win 2 out of every 3 games from here on out. I mean, that's the challenge that faces them. So they believe they can do it. And then just kind of circle back to your question is you see it in practice, you see it in games, you see the way they carry themselves. You just feel that this is a team that believes that they can get the job done and that they can get themselves into the playoffs.
Hockey Hall of Famer and Detroit Red Wings analyst Larry Murphy joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. One of my favorite players to watch this season has been Lucas Raymond, and just the development that he's had, in his young career. When you watch him play, it'd be maybe a tough question, but what do you think the ceiling is for him?
The ceiling, I think it remains to be seen. He's last season, the latter part of last season, when they were fighting for a playoff spot, he was by far the biggest contributor, and just a pressure situation really stepped up. And this season, he followed it and built on what he was able to produce last season. He didn't score much early on in the year, but he had a lot in assists. He was very effective. I mean, there was never a moment where you'd say, "Geez, this guy, he's not the go-to guy for the Wings." Because when he got out there, he did things, and Larkin had such a great start scoring, and big reason was because of Raymond putting him in that position to score. I see more upside to him. Where does he fit? Is he a top 20 guy in this league? I think that's reachable. I think it's too early to label him that right now. That the superstar sort of status that you see Draisaitl and McDavid have earned. But he's been the team's best player this season, and he's got the combination of skill, tenacity, a lot of heart, and he's got touch around the net.
I just want to check in, on the injury report here. Patrick Kane, not likely to play tonight. Tarasenko could be out there. Compher's going to make the trip. Jeff Petrie did not. Do you expect that we have Tarasenko and Compher in the lineup for the Red Wings tonight?
I think I expect them both in. Tarasenko's feeling much better coming off a strong practice. Kane, I'd be shocked. I'd be very surprised if we saw him. And Petrie, is not even on the trip. So. Kane is a setback for him. Tarasenko is a player that, with the coaching change, they hope that this is a guy, when they brought him in, they were hoping that he'd score 20, 25 goals for this team, and he's well off that pace, not even close. So that's a project for McLellan to get him going offensively, because that only help their cause. He's back in after being sick. So, hopefully, we always hope. I mean, he hasn't hurt the team. He goes out there, he works hard, very responsible. The puck plays his position well, but I mean, they need, they're paying him like they are because they want that offense, and that's something that hopefully they'll push. He'll start, this latter part of the season that he'll start contributing on a more regular basis.
Larry, outside of the big name players for the Red Wings, who are some players that the Oilers fans should have their eye out for tonight?
Well, we touched on Marco Kasper early on, the rookie. He's a guy he's very difficult to play against because he's got grit to his game. He's a good skater. And he'll be on top of the defense quite often. So they'll hear him coming. Have to be well aware when he's on the ice. He's a good guy to watch. On defense, I mean, there's Seider, of course. That's has got received a lot of notoriety over the last few seasons. His whole career, as few seasons as they are, but well deserved on his part. He is the Wings' number one defense. Simon Edmondson, the big boy. He's younger than Seider. He's a guy like you asked me that question about Raymond, like the upside. That Edmondson's the type of guy that kind of like fits into that for me. He's got some offensive touch to his game, or he doesn't see any power play time, but you'll see when he gets the puck, the big guy usually does the right thing with it. Those are two guys that I think stand out in terms of keep an eye on this evening.
Larry, we had a text coming in here. I'm not sure exactly how much you've seen of him, but former Oil King, a first-round pick, Sebastian Cossa, this year looking pretty good with the Grand Rapids Griffins this season. What are your thoughts on the future for Cossa?
They had him up. He got a taste of NHL action and showed well. He didn't get a lot of work, but definitely didn't look out of place. It's I'm not sure what Yzerman's plan is. Of course, the clock is ticking in terms of his entry level status. They can only keep him under wraps for so long. Is next year the year where he gets a bona fide opportunity to show his stuff? He's advanced. They started him in the East Coast League, and he's having a great season now. In Grand Rapids, they're having a real strong year in the American Hockey League, and he's shown well. So I would say he's on schedule. Remains to be seen. Making that final jump to the AHL. I mean, you have to see it, right? You just can't. I don't think with a goalie, especially, you just can't assume that it's going to be an easy situation for him. But he's coming. He's on schedule, and the way that they're not committed to anybody long term. Talbot's he's 37 now, so there's not a goalie of the future in the lineup right now. Alex Lyon and Cam Talbot have done a great job this year, but both of them aren't. You wouldn't consider them like these are the guys they're going to run with for the next 5 or 6 years. And Cossa is the guy that's probably in the lead in the position to take that role.
Larry Murphy joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in today. Oilers set to take on the Red Wings tonight. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock down at Rogers Place. Larry, I want to ask you, just looking at your statistics, your career was absolutely amazing. You played 1,600 career games regular season. You had just over 1,200 points, 288 goals, 929 assists. So an offensive dynamo for sure. When you look at Edmonton's team, Evan Bouchard has been a guy who's been very polarizing on the roster. We know his offensive upside, but there's been a few defensive lapses. When you look at a player like Bouchard, a guy who has made his way with the offensive ability, do you think it just takes time to figure things out on the back end and do it a little bit more consistently than he has?
Well, I'm sure that's an area that he wants to show well, and it was, for me, that was something that when you're on the offensive side of things, as I was a lot of the time, they kind of look at you, well, can you play in your own zone? And that was something that I always took pride in. It was something that I really tried to push to improve. And I wanted to be on the penalty killing as much as I wanted to be on the power play. And I think, that mindset, that really helped me. It's just, I think I don't want to pigeonhole him or anybody else. Different guys have different strengths, and for my eyes, he's a guy that you love to have on the ice. So, it's and highly skilled. So I mean, those aren't guys that are easy to find. So he's done his job in Edmonton, and of course there are going to be moments, and it's the same for any player. I mean, no one plays the game perfect by any means, but I'm sure we're going to see him out there for a long time, and he will. He's a big part of the Oiler team, and the Oilers are having another great year. So I mean, he deserves his share of the credit for that.
Absolutely. Just one last question. I know you've represented Canada at many levels, the World Juniors, World Championships, Canada Cup. I just want to get your thoughts on the Four Nation face-off coming up here in a couple of weeks. And, mid-season tournament, it's a new tournament. So I guess a lot of people are kind of questioning how serious the players will take it. What are your thoughts on this event coming up shortly?
I think the players will take it very seriously. I don't think that's an issue at all. Once you put your country sweater on, you take tremendous pride in that, and you feel that responsibility to play the best you can. I've never worn it where I haven't, and I have never seen anybody else, an exception to this, that, you play your best, and that's what's going to happen. Those teams are all going to go out there and try to win. It's an interesting format. Now, in terms of, on the business side of it, I don't know how it's all going to shake out. And I mean, you look at it, it's only, there's only 4 countries involved. So it's a sampling, so to speak. So, but I mean, I'm going to be watching, and I know it's going to be extremely exciting. And I'm a Canadian, and I'll be cheering as hard as any other Canadian there watching. And I know it's going to be important for the people of Canada that, we've always take pride is that Canada's the number 1 hockey nation in the world, and this is an opportunity to strengthen that argument.
Well, Larry, thanks so much for doing this today. I really appreciate it, and have a great call tonight.
You're welcome. Take care.
There you go. That is Larry Murphy, Hockey Hall of Famer. Pretty good career.
Good job asking about Bouchard.
Well, few players have done it better than him. I mean, I don't know how much he gets to see Evan Bouchard on a night-to-night basis, but when you hear him say, "Well, the Oilers are good," and he's a big part of it, Larry, probably a good sign.
Larry Murphy is a legend.
Yeah, long career too, 20 years.
Remember, I was just thinking about him while he was talking. Remember his super cool visor he had?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
great call tonight. Do you think if Twitter was around when he played, people would be mad at his defensive game?
Probably.
Like in the start of his career, 76 points, but I love hearing that. Like, he took pride in his defensive game, wanted to be better. You always want to, when the naysayers say you can't do something, you always want to prove them wrong. So you got to hope that reigns true with everyone else.
I love social media. I was born on MySpace. I'll die on Neuralink. But I don't think that, we saw people Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the second intermission, saying Ken Holland is a disgrace and he needs to step down. What are you talking about? We're in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. I think there's just a portion of people on social that would have shredded Larry Murphy. Didn't they make the playoffs 22 consecutive seasons?
The Red Wings?
Yeah.
Oh,
something insane like that. And I bet you he was on the team for most of that. People back in the day would have found a way.
Rage Texture B says, Larry Murphy trying so hard not to say Bouchard sucks at defense. Trade that tap out artist. Oilers fans know Bouchard is a very good offensive D-man and a very good power play merchant. Us Oilers fans know that the power play is still historic without Bouchard. Oilers fans know a stay-at-home shutdown D-man with grit is what the Oilers need. Pay that guy $8 million, whoever that is. Well, therein lies the question. Whoever it is. Well, who is it?
Larry. Everybody looks like a terrible D-man to Larry Murphy, for heaven's sakes. He's Larry Murphy.
Heck of a year. Wow, many years. It seemed like all he did was win. 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Gold at Canada Cups, World Cups, whatever. Winners win. That's what they do.
Larry Murphy's a legend.
Let's take a break. When we come back, well, let me tell you, we got lots to get to on this show today. Colin Livingston, up in the air. It could be like Jordan Flu game. I think he's going to stay home. But we will have Dave Naylor. We will have Dennis Bernstein. We will have Mark Spector. We'll get to some comments from the Oilers team as well as they spoke before tonight's game. Coming up next, a man who will be in the rink. Will he play? There's a chance. We'll talk to him next. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and watching it on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
A Bedtime Story by Zachary Martin Hyman.
The hockey game's over.
The Zamboni sleeps soon. I lay down in comfort, Legacy heating my room. Good night to you, furnace, with your hot blower running. Good night to you, air vents, keeping the warm air coming. Good night to my payments that I won't see for 1 year. Good night to my Legacy. Bedtime is near.
Warm winter nights. That's how you soothe your Legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
McDonald's presents a hockey showdown like never before. McDavid versus Matthew. There can only be one winner, competing for all the glory and all the prize. The new menu features top shelf plays like the Smoky Quarter Poppy and the Big Mac David, so everybody scores, with even more delicious options like the Spicy Junior Chirpy. Now that calls for a silly Sunday. The Showdown menu, now available at McDonald's.
Once upon a Battle of Alberta, WHL style, your Edmonton Oil Kings host extra special royalty in Ice District. Tomorrow, it's the first ever Oil Kings Princess Night at Rogers Place as Edmonton looks to defeat the Calgary Hitmen. Fans can dress up as their favorite royal and find princesses roaming the concourse all night for the ultimate selfie. Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king-sized. Edmonton Oil Kings Princess Night, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Happily Ever After Entertainment in Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
You know the Ridge Social Eatery St. Albert is a great place to unwind with your friends. But when it comes to Valentine's Day, let's just say you get a little frantic with the romantic. Not to worry, the Ridge has you covered. Yeah, the Ridge is the perfect place for you two with their special Valentine's Day menu. You get your choice of a main and your choice of a shared app and dessert, plus a bottle of sparkling wine, all for just $140 per couple. Reservations are recommended, so call now or go online to theridgestantalbert.com.
Cold, icy mornings, frozen windshield, snow in the forecast, and your vehicle won't start. You know what that means, Alberta. Winter is here. Don't get left out of the cold. Head to Napa Auto Parts today to gear up for the frosty months ahead. Winter won't wait, and neither should you. From premium batteries, starters, and alternators to high-quality wiper blades, antifreeze, and snow brushes, Napa Auto Parts has everything you need to get your vehicle winter ready and running. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store or visit NapaCanada.com for all your trusted parts, tools, equipment, and automotive needs. That's Napa know-how.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
It's the place for Honda. It's the place for service too. I love it. I love my Honda place. Would you buy? Would you buy? Would you buy? It's
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Slapshot Special, add a 2-liter Pepsi product to a large 1-topping pizza and garlic Parmesan breadsticks and bundle it for only $25.99. Use promo code HOCKEY24 at papajohns.ca.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
makes it all right. You see what I got to lose.
It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz sitting in. We got Declan Kruger and Liam Peace with you here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. If you want to watch on Instagram, just go search up Sports 1440. You can find it there streaming live. The Jason Gregor Show, as always, is brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. You can get a $50 free play. When you make a deposit, just put in code word Gregor50. Make sure you use your game sense. And right now, we are going to go in the room. And this is going to be a real fun interview. In the Room brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tag, solar for commercial or residential. You can contact them today at actionelectrical.net. We bring in Colton Iwaschuk. He is the e-bug in Edmonton with the NHL. Colton, thanks for coming into the studio today.
Yeah, thanks, Connor, for having me. How are you?
Doing really good, thank you. And Shawn Brown set this one up because we were talking about, obviously, the situation on Monday night for the Oilers, bringing in goaltender from the U of A Golden Bears, Tyler Palmer.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, I'm sitting with the NHL Oiler or Edmonton e-bug right now. You want to have him on? I'm like, yeah, of course we got to get him on. Like this right. E-bug is such a cool story. Matt Berlin made the headlines a couple of years ago, getting to go into the game, and it was such a great story. So for you, what's the story for you playing hockey? Were you always a goalie, getting into it young?
You know, it's funny enough. My dad was actually a goalie, so of course, when you're a young kid, it's always the dream to follow in dad's footsteps and take over whatever he was doing. So. And of course, with the equipment, who doesn't want to have the cool pads, the cool helmet, and it's kind of like the cool gimmick of it. But when I ended up getting into it when I was probably 6 years old, I think my dad tried to get me out of it 4 times. He's like, "Hey, we have enough weirdness in the house. We don't need any more goalies in one." So, started young. After that, really fell in love with the game. It was always a competitive side to me. I always loved one-on-one, me versus the guy in front of me, kind of thing, where it's your best versus my best. What we got here, so.
Eventually, just and that's funny. Your dad saying you don't need to do this. Like, go try something else. But obviously, goaltender was the passion, and you played your whole life. So how do you get this gig? I'm sure there's probably goalies out there that are like, I'm pretty good. How do I fall into this position?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of requirements the NHL actually has. So to get into it, I was lucky enough to work with Schwartzy when I was younger, probably 10 years ago now or so. It's been a hot minute, but I worked with him a little bit when I was younger, so he had a little bit of recognition of who I was. But the NHL actually has a lot of requirements on what you have to have played or where you played or how long before you can actually accept it. So they looked up to my requirements, made sure I was available, and I was eligible to join. So it's a long, lengthy term, like way to go around it. But yeah, it's just you have to kind of reach out and hopefully you fit the requirements.
When it comes to eligibility, like they don't want me showing up, someone who's never played the position. So like, did they kind of check your background, make sure that, if it happens, you know somewhat what you're doing?
Yeah, I think it's after they've had a couple guys who were just in the rink previously that didn't have a whole bunch of experience playing higher level. I think that's when they started to kind of screen the guys a bit where, well, I mean, nowadays, all it takes is a quick search up the name and here comes elite prospects.
Yeah.
Find out what guys really made of real quick. But I think you you have to have either played a junior at a certain level or college or senior men's triple, in my case, in the last 2 years to be eligible.
Yeah.
Some high level of hockey to be able to still do it. So
And you're playing with Stony Plain.
yes, I am. Yeah, I'm playing with the Eagles currently.
How's that season going for you?
Good. We're fourth right now, so playoffs are coming up. It's actually, I was surprised at how fast the hockey is compared to college. It kind of caught me off guard the first game, but it's a whole lot of fun still. It's a lot of competitive guys out there. So
I see the 5-1 record.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm looking at your page right now as well. Colton Iwaschuk joining us here. Obviously, goaltender with the Stony Plain Eagles, but the Oilers are NHL E-Bug in Edmonton. So what does a game day look like for you? Obviously, you got to go down to the rink tonight. You're doing radio hits. Most goalies, they don't let do that. But
Yes.
what's the next, I'll say, 3-4 hours look like for you?
So actually, there's two of us that do it. So it's
Okay.
me and another guy. Tonight's his night. Thankfully.
Okay, all
So
right.
we're off the hook tonight. But yeah, typical day. It depends. If it's during the week, I do a normal 9 to 5 job in commercial real estate. So I'll go to the office probably 8 a.m., 8:30. Work till about an hour before the game. Usually I'll try and eat a little healthier. You never want to be shoving your face with junk food in case you ever do have to go in. I usually try and walk around a little bit too during the day, keep the legs fresh. You never want to be sitting at a desk. It's like the typical bus legs in hockey. You never want that. So you'll show up an hour before. Just gives you the benefit of if a guy's gone down and warm up playing sewer ball, weird things have happened in previous years in the NHL. So you show up an hour before, suit and tie, making sure you're looking good. And after that, you sit in the stands, or not in the stands, I apologize. You sit in the press box and watch warm up. And if anything ever happens there, you're ready for it. So
You're not popping like candy and soda with brownie, are you?
no, I try and keep away from it. Brownie tries to entice me into it a bit, but
Yeah.
stay away from that as much as I can.
He does that. Avoid his wife's cooking. It's terrific.
Oh, I'll have to
But
bring some in.
The super sweets are so good. Maybe not for you in case you get the call. So you were telling us you've had one instance where you had to go down. So let's just say, I won't put it on any goalie. Let's say hypothetically a goalie goes down. Your first reaction, do you get a call or are you just standing up and going?
So there's actually one of the game day coordinators is who we do this through. So this was back last year with Shawn May.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is he'll come, he's like sitting behind you. So there's 2 rows. You're sitting in the front row, he's sitting in the back row. And he'll kind of look over and you already know what's coming because you see the guy down. And he's like, hey, we're going down. So next steps are you run to the elevator, get down to your parkade, get your gear to your car, and you bring it to the away WHL room where you start getting your lowers on. So the second you start getting your lowers on, the team you're going in for will start making the jersey in the hopes that you don't have to go in for them.
Yeah.
No one wants a E-Bug instead of an NHL guy in net. But yeah, they'll start making your jersey and you sit there in the room watching on TV and praying that you either go in or you don't, depending on the night.
So the instance when it happened for you, it was Detroit, right?
Yes.
Who went down? Do you remember?
I want to say it was Lyon. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he was him. He was just came back from an injury and it was the first 2 minutes into the game. So I barely sat down and had enough time to open my computer to do a little work, and right down we go.
So on your way out, are guys high-fiving you or anything? Is there any hype up from the media, the former players?
I know. I think it's more so, please don't let this guy go in net.
Yeah, there's a little nerves there.
Yeah, let's not let this happen. But yeah, it's pretty hush-hush. Like, it's just you start walking there. Some people will realize what's going on. Most won't even care or know.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot bigger fish to fry up there. So
even when this happens, now you can confirm or you cannot confirm.
Yeah.
I've heard some teams will let a goalie, even if he doesn't go on the ice, keep the jersey. Some teams don't.
Yeah, it depends on the day. It depends on the team, right? Like for us being in Edmonton, Calgary's right next door. So usually if a team's coming here, they're going to Calgary next or just came from them. Depends. If they got the game the next day, probably not going to let you keep it. But if they're going back home, there might be a chance they'll give you a, hey, thanks for getting suited up. Here you go. But
was there a number on the jersey?
There was not yet.
No number? Oh, man.
No.
So many questions. I don't know if you're allowed to answer this. Dawson says, is there pay being an NHL E-Bug?
I can't answer that. I think that's probably best to keep unanswered, but
no comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plead the fifth on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how nervous were you? Like, I just imagine myself, I would be a wreck going to my car, grabbing my pads. I'd probably be like vibrating. People would see it. Were you pretty nervous when it happened?
You know what? At first, yeah, I was wearing my Apple Watch, so I got to check the heart rate. It was a little higher than usual.
Yeah.
But after getting down there, it kind of calmed down a little bit. Like, hey, you know what? We can do this. There's still one more guy to go through. The chances of that happen are pretty slim, but kind of trying to calm myself down a bit.
Do you ever go out and practice with NHL teams just to kind of get a vibe on just how heavy the shots are and how good they are?
So the Oilers will have you out from time to time, depending on say for an example, last week when Pickard was injured, it wasn't me. They had the other guy out for practice, just having him kind of getting ready. But yeah, you'll face shots from a bunch of these guys in the summer anyways as well. And if you've been in that level, you've seen these guys. So you do have to go and see a shot, because once you see it in person, it's nothing like you'd ever expect.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Lee texting in, does the E-Bug get a chance to play with both teams or just the home team?
It is both teams, yeah. So if both team goalies go away down on the away team, you will have to step in. So it's always the thing. It's like, do you really want to face a McDavid Draisaitl power play? Probably not. But
did you grow up in the city?
I did, yeah.
So are you an Oilers fan?
Reluctantly, I gotta say, yeah, I can't.
It would be so weird then to go in against them if it were to happen.
It would, but I think it'd be just cool to go against the team. I think it's probably what I'd prefer.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be the guy that goes in for Edmonton and loses, and now the city's like, great, thanks, dude. But
yeah. The E-Bug stories are so good. Ayers, I believe, a couple of years ago with the Canes beating the Leafs, and then Matt Berlin was awesome to see. Now, if you ever do get the call, what type, is there a attendee you kind of model your game after?
Yeah, I feel like I modeled it a lot after Carey Price back when he was playing. Of course, most goalies did in my age group here. He was the guy. He was the greatest probably in that era. So modeling my game after him was probably a hard one to do, but obviously one that was a proven success. So
yeah, I mean, hey, it worked out pretty well for Carey. Well, this was awesome, Colton. Thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. And if you get in there, you got a big group of fans rooting for you now.
Awesome. I really appreciate it, Connor.
There you go. That is Colton Iwaschuk joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. In the Room, brought to you by Action Electrical. We'll take a break. When we come back, we got on the topic of laws and team names of sorts, copyright. There's a cool story I want to bring up in the next segment. We'll do that with Wanye. There you go, Declan. But first, we're getting to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring HVAC installers and plumbers, starting bonuses to the right candidates, strong benefits, RRSP matching, and tuition reimbursement. You can apply today at legacyheating.ca. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, 10 games tonight in the NHL. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers in action as they will take on the Detroit Red Wings, hosting here at Rogers Place. 7 p.m. puck drop for that one. Lineup notes: John Klingberg set to make his NHL debut. Jeff Skinner draws back in for Kasperi Kapanen, who is out with an illness. 5 games tonight in the NBA. 2 games kicking off the action at 5 o'clock. The Lakers and Wizards and the Hawks and Cavaliers. Late game tonight will see the Orlando Magic in Portland taking on the Trailblazers. News around the sporting world is Ravens kicker Justin Tucker is accused of inappropriate sexual behavior by 6 massage therapists in the Baltimore area. According to an investigation by the Baltimore Banner, Tucker's conduct caused some therapists to refuse work with him again and resulted in 2 spas banning him from returning, according to the article. Unusual betting patterns surrounding the play of then Charlotte Hornets, now Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier in a game nearly 2 years ago are now under investigation by federal prosecutors, a part of the same probe that led to the lifetime ban of the Toronto Raptors player Jonte Porter, the NBA did confirm today. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tank. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously. The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
Planning for your future. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your 2024 taxes, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. Don't wait. The deadline to qualify for 2024 tax deductions is March 3rd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Well, I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday. Walking by the lake and there was not another car inside. And I never had a girl looking.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell. Ewell.ca is your Power Play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands 24/7. Ordering and shipping within Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at Ewell.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Thank you for tuning in to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use promo code Gregor50. Get a $50 free play with your deposit. You make sure to use your game sense at PlayAlberta.ca. Maybe you're taking Leon Draisaitl, anytime goal scorer. Maybe McDavid. Lots of options to be had. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Liam Peace with you here at the UL Studios in West Edmonton Mall. Game day edition of this show is the Oilers taking on the Red Wings down at Rogers Place. Pre-game coverage at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Some news just coming down here. Thank you to Brad for texting in. The Utah Hockey Club says, "Hey, hockey fans, we've listened to your feedback and dug into all the Qualtrics data." Qualtrics? From last night's survey. For the team name, it's clear that Outlaws should be in the mix instead of Wasatch. I don't know. That good, because I would butcher that name all the time. So we're swapping it out. The survey will continue at the arena Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday for you to vote for the Mammoth Hockey Club or Outlaws. Excited to see the votes roll in.
This is a masterclass of marketing.
2 straight days you're staying in the news cycle, you mean?
Swapping out an option that no one could pronounce. It was an obvious red herring. Ryan Smith, the owner, smart guy.
Now, everybody with a mic in front of them, of these 3 names, what do you like? Outlaws, Mammoth, or Hockey Club? Declan?
I mean, I was always such a big Utah Range guy. I really loved that one. But of those ones that you mentioned, I'm going to go Mammoth.
On you?
It'll be Mammoth.
Connor? Outlaws. I like the Outlaws.
I don't think they'd allow it.
The Nomad Outlaws.
Outlaws is kind of cool, but I just feel like Outlaws should be reserved for like a desert team, like New Mexico or Arizona or Texas.
What about Nevada?
Oh, Nevada would be great.
I think Utah is like a similar type climate. Isn't it like kind of Calgary? Like
well,
deserty / mountainy / Western outlaw.
I'll tell you what, I'm watching this show on Netflix right now, and you talk about the Mormons making their journey. The Mormon militia, were they outlaws? I don't know.
No, they would have been fighting the outlaws.
No, they were doing some things, man. Not always above.
Show you watching
American Primeval.
What's that on?
Netflix.
Smart Toaster? Oh,
Netflix, yeah. Check it out. I mean, I'm not done yet, so I'm not all the way there. JCD says Utah is a desert. Yeah, mountain range as well. So I don't know. I kind of like the Outlaws. It's all going to depend. Like, give me a logo with the name.
It won't be Hockey Club. The fact that they've sold all this merchandise now, they want to sell it all over again because Ryan Smith, the owner, is very smart.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I wanted to bring this story up because, well, we were talking trademarks yesterday. I don't know how it slipped my mind. I recorded it on my phone so I could scroll through things. Pat Riley, the former head coach, president of the Miami Heat, he owns half a dozen trademarks related to the phrase three-peat, going back decades. He had this idea. Well, that's a lie. He stole the idea reportedly from Byron Scott when he was with the Lakers, who came up with the phrase three-peat, decided this is a good idea. I'm going to copyright it. So when the Bulls won their three-peat, he cashed in on all memorabilia made for that. The Lakers, again, and it's an estimated, he would get about 5% royalty fee from anything that says three-peat. So the Kansas City Chiefs having a chance to three-peat, do we have to pay Riley? Oh my gosh, the budget for this segment. I mean, could be some huge money for him because that's going to be everywhere if they do it. We haven't seen it before. Wanye, as a business mind like yourself, you must respect this.
Totally. I think that Pat Riley saw an opportunity. Pat Riley took it. That's what makes him a champion.
I mean, Byron Scott should get a little cut of that, in my opinion, but it's interesting. Declan, does that make you like Pat Riley more or less?
Well, no, man, this is my thing. He didn't even win a three-peat.
No, we had the business mind to pull trigger on copyright.
Well, he trademarked it prior to the 88-89 season or during the 88-89 season.
Yeah.
When they were trying to three-peat and they lost in the NBA Finals 4-0. Like, I feel like you should have had to have won the three-peat to get the trademark.
He lost, but he won.
I get that it's great business acumen. I get that he's a great business mind. Heads up play by him. But I feel like you got to win it to have the trademark. Call me old school. You should have a three-peat before you can trademark three-peat.
An NBA roster only lasts a certain amount of time, but if you keep renewing your trademarks, that can last a long time.
Man, it's something. JCD just says Utah, amazing sand dunes. Southern Utah is like Egypt, beautiful, underrated state. Propane P says American Primeval is amazing. Certainly didn't paint BYU namesake in a very bright light. Brigham Young? Yeah. 54 wives? I think I read that there's like 30,000 Americans that are from his seed.
When you're like 30, you could stop. It's just hubris at that point.
Most people stop at like one.
You know what I mean? Like your 31st wife, you're like, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going for the record.
It's wild. And then I was seeing that he's like, some of them are more like mothers to me. That was a line in the show. Kim Coates portrays him. Tig from Sons of Anarchy, amongst other great movies and TV shows. Yeah, it's a good show if you want to watch it. But learning that, Googling it, pretty ridiculous.
Managing 54 wives, like you'd have 6 types and 9 in each of your groupings. You're like, those are the really nice ones. Those are the ones I try to avoid.
Sorry,
those
56 wives.
Mothers to me. You have to group them.
57 children. In 2016, 30,000 descendants. Estimated.
He had 57 children with 56 women?
Yep.
Who got 2? The champion. That's
his favorite. Yeah. Anyways, good show if you want to watch it. Is it Brigham Young or Brigham Young? Brigham. I don't know. It's BYU when I talk about it when it comes to football. That's what it is. Just kind of roll through it and say it as fast as I can. when I don't understand it. Aaron texting in, I don't know. I said it yesterday, but why would the owner of multiple teams in Colorado, Nuggets, Avalanche, and Mammoth, allow/want a team 500 miles away with the same name? I don't know. It's like, obviously, they probably have the legal power to do something if they want. Maybe they're just like, it's all good. Maybe they don't want to fight it. What's the worst name in sports? Mine are Utah HC, the Pelicans, and most soccer teams, like the FCs from Shorty, Fort Mac. Like AA baseball teams. Like there's a team I think called the Biscuits, the Fighting Artichokes. I think that's a college one.
What about the Banana Slugs?
Banana Slugs, what are they?
UC Santa Barbara, I think.
You guys are missing out on the worst name of all. Calgary Flames.
Calgary.
That's the stupidest name for a city I've ever heard of and the worst name for a team.
UC Santa Cruz. Also, news coming down, Liam passed it over to me. Right-hander Max Scherzer and the Blue Jays are on agreement on a 1-year, $15.5 million deal.
Holy cow.
LP Smooth handed you breaking news?
Sure did.
Cool.
They're doing it. They're doing it. They're turning it around. They're going to finish third in the AL East and miss the playoffs.
This is the revolving door of watching Blue Jays fans from across the room. You always get your hearts broken. It's so funny. What restaurant was rented out fictitiously now?
No, it was rented out.
When Ohtani was coming?
Yeah, it was just for his wife.
No.
It was like Kikuchi's wife's birthday dinner.
No, was it?
Yeah. It was a real rezo. Come on. We weren't that crazy.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like Utah Saints, a lot of people texting in. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's not going to be the Saints. It's not going to be all the other silly names people text in. Outlaws, Mammoth, or Hockey Club. Why was the Yetis refused by U.S. Trademark and Patent Office? I don't know. Maybe the Yeti Cup company didn't want it to happen. I really don't understand it. Like, whatever. It would have been a cool one. You missed the tempo name for the Toronto basketball team from Mike. That's WNBA, right? I saw that. That's sad. They had a really good opportunity to do something great there. They could have even gone like, I know the WNBA kind of has a theme with their team names, but I want to go like Huskies. Toronto's history. Remember the Raptors wore those Huskies jerseys? So nice. I don't know if any of you've seen them. Kind of a white with a nice blue. Just simple. Big miss. The problem about Utah text is there's a lot that I can't read.
Yeah.
There's ones they're funny. I just don't want to step on any toes.
There's a lot of people making what they believe to be the same unique, funny joke.
And it's all of you guys. Just letting you know, you're all making the same joke.
Yeah, like I just thought of this.
Yeah. JCD brings up just same names. Texas Rangers, New York Rangers, Winnipeg Jets, New York Jets, DC Lions, Detroit Lions. I think DC might have been BC, but yeah, same difference. Yeah, you certainly could repeat it, but I guess some people don't want to do that, and whatever. Mammoth. College teams go all over the place. Hollywood J says, American Prime Evil, one of the best shows I've ever watched. Sat there and watched it in one sitting on Saturday. I can't do that anymore. I wish I could do that. Life gets in the way. Utah Outlaws to me, no contest. Outlaws all day. The Mormons controlled the state who would check for outlaws. That's why they hold up there in 1880s.
I'm getting slowly sold on the Outlaws for Utah. People tell me it's a true desert. Now that fact we now have, I think it'd be cool.
You think outlaws can only operate in the desert?
Doesn't it seem kind of synonymous with the desert?
Oh, I could imagine a forest-based outlaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
coastal outlaws.
No, I think there's different names for that. If it's coastal, it's got to be like pirates. I don't know what the forest one would be.
Nymphs.
Sasquatch. Yeti.
You're getting robbed by wood nymphs on a forest trail, Declan?
I don't go into the forest because I'm afraid of getting robbed of the nymphs.
Oh.
Robbed by the nymph.
The nymph outlaws.
Man, our texters are awesome. Fat Efron and Matt. Robin Hood and now Delta Golf and Beer Man. Everyone's saying all forest outlaws.
Yeah.
What about like Tarzan? Was he an outlaw?
No.
I'm just trying to think of people that lived in the forest.
He was raised by the jungle. Tarzan.
Curious would know this, but Outlaws is a fantastic name. Same as my hometown Wilkie, Saskatchewan team from the old Wild Goose Hockey League. Well, Brandon Douglas will tell you that the Delburn hockey team is called the Outlaws as well. Maybe they'll be suing. Your Mount Rushmore of bad team names. Fighting Artichokes is sick. The Ottawa Red Blacks is in there for sure. Cooler in French, but not good. Washington Wizards. Even though when I was in like grade 10, I kind of liked the logo. Oh, what else? What was the banana one? Slugs?
Cruz Banana Slugs.
I think that's got to be in there. I don't know what my fourth is. That's one we might have to dig into later on here. And because we have such an intelligent listener group, text them in 1-833-401-1440. Worst team names, like genuinely bad. I think Ajax in the Dutch soccer team has a kind of a questionable one. Cracker Cats.
Yeah. Looking at that through the lens of history.
Fun baseball. Any baseball down at the River Valley is a good time, but Cracker Cats was bad. Pelicans, the Mighty Ducks.
I didn't mind the Mighty Ducks. When they had the Disney-themed duck mask, that was brilliant marketing.
Yeah.
Remember when the Disney on the team, it was a little bit more cartoony, Wild Wing, that type stuff? I thought that was awesome.
There's a cartoon.
As a little kid?
Best was 2 Rough Riders in the 7 or 8 team league. Yeah, that was very funny. Tarzan wasn't an outlaw, but he was an orphan. Orphans can't be outlaws? Too vast. Should be a Mount Rushmore of pro teams. Yeah, I mean, if we start getting like into college and such, might be a little tough. Lance on the south side says Outlaws doesn't work because of the hard T in Utah. The one in Outlaws doesn't sound good together. Utah Outlaws. Doesn't roll off the tongue. Salt Lake City Outlaws. But they're going to be Utah. Banana Slugs have no natural predators, so they're safe. The Portland Pickles, minor league team. Utah Jazz. Delburn also had a hockey team named the Bad Boys. Mike Hillam Warriors bested them way back in the day. The Bad Boys. I wonder if that was inspired by the feature film. Elf, that was a great show. Thank you, Elf. We're trying to. Whatever the Montreal PWHL team is called. Victory? Anyone else know? Guess not. We'll continue on. How about the Utah Fighting Gnomes? Don't think that's going to happen. Are the Macon Whoopie still a team? To be totally honest with you, I had never heard of that.
It's a baseball team, I think.
Macon?
Yeah, Macon, Ohio.
Oh, very funny. Golden Seals. That was awful. I kind of like their jerseys, though. Kind of a cool color scheme. George here. What happened to the Utah Yeti name? Legal things got in the way. We're led to believe it was the Utah Cup manufacturer. Had a copyright on it and didn't want it to happen. So kind of silly. The Denver Broncos. Best team logo in the 4 major sports from Todd. Leave it to a Broncos fan to take a segment about bad team names and make it about them being good.
You know what a terrible logo is?
If we're talking about sweet throwbacks, yes, I'll give the Broncos that one.
Sea on fire. Why would you do that?
You just hate those Flames.
The worst.
How dare you insult Ajax? My favorite team, Edmonton Elks, is the worst name. LOL. And J-Rock says, how about the Utah Chicken Hawks? It would open up for a cool logo. Maybe. I like the picture you sent us. We got to take a break here. Lots of texts rolling in. We'll try to get to them as soon as possible. Sled Dogs. Dealey Stan dropping in a good one. When we come back, we're going to talk a little NFL and CFL with Dave Naylor. Of course, we got the Super Bowl, 10 days away. We've got CFL for agency starting up on Sunday. We'll see maybe what the Elks might be looking to do in his opinion. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter makes a prank phone call.
It's ringing.
Hello?
Hello there. Is your faucet running?
Yeah, actually it is. I have this really annoying drip.
Oh, you'll want to check for mineral buildup or corrosion. Otherwise, it's likely a defective gasket or O-ring. I got him good.
Mr. Rooter, you're the worst at this.
For lousy punchlines and immaculate water lines, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
90 days? You're telling me I can buy a 2024 or 2025 Buick or GMC from Wolf GMC Buick and make no payments for 90 days? Whoa. And you're telling me there's more? It's the final days of GMC's employee pricing on remaining 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons? Clearly now is the time to buy a new vehicle. I'm heading to Wolf GMC Buick, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road. It's mere seconds east of the Anthony Henday.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goal. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhock beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhock beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhock beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
Elevate your game with the Basketball Show, hosted by me, Paul Sir. Tune in Saturday mornings at 10 for expert insights, exclusive interviews, and the latest hoops action. It happens right here on Sports 1440.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
From the casinos of Vegas to the bingo halls of Leduc, everybody wants a piece of Lady Luck. And what thanks do I get? It's like I don't even exist.
There's no such thing as luck. If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Imagine being the difference in a young person's life. At Big Brothers Big Sisters, we create life-changing friendships. Visit BigBrothersBigSisters.ca today to donate or volunteer. Your involvement can shape a future.
All of the truth went through and thought we made it through the storm. I really want you to realize, I really want to put you on. I've been searching for someone to satisfy my every need. Won't you be my inspiration? Be the real love that I need. I'm searching for
Portions of this hour brought to you by the PWHL Takeover Tour, featuring a matchup between the Toronto Scepters and Ottawa Charge, Sunday, February 16th at Rogers Place. Premium seating now available. Check out the available suites, theater boxes, and loge tables. Head to rogersplace.com/PWHL.
From puck drop to kickoff,
It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Now I hope my dreams and inspiration lead me towards some real love.
With bad team names, Castor Raiders, followed by best team name ever from Niner. Thank you for the text. Appreciate you tuning into the show today. Also, a quick thank you to everyone who's been checking out the podcast online. Man, we were 60th in Canada in sports podcasts. So shout out to everyone who went over to Apple and gave us a download. Very much appreciated. If you haven't done so, why not do it now? You know what? Maybe we can go even higher. Maybe we can crack the top 50. That'd be cool. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Right now, you can use promo code Gregor50 and get a $50 free play. So you deposit $10, put in Gregor50, get a $50 bet. You put that on an Oilers win, and then you win, and then you go and have more money to spend. That's what you can do. But remember to use your game sense. Know your limits. Stay within it. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Liam Peace. We were set to have Dave Naylor on the program. Something came up, hoping everything's okay with Dave. So we won't have him on right now, but we will still get to the football report. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. If you need a late night service or help on the weekends, you don't need overtime charges. That is how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. So we're going to talk some football, but also some football as well. As I mentioned Ajax, and you said you had been to a game, Wanye, and you have a story to tell in the football report.
A great story. This counts as the football report?
Football report.
Of course. Well, listen to this. So we went to Amsterdam one time and we went to an Ajax game. Amazing. Huge stadium, like Commonwealth. Very exciting, right? And we're like, we should get a beer, because what do you do when you're at a sporting event, Connor? You get a beer.
Man, at some events, a hot dog, maybe not a soccer game.
Ajax Stadium was bizarre because where we were sitting, it wasn't really like set up to make a lot of money. So people didn't get in lines at the concession. The concession only sold weird stuff like stew and like oregano flavored potato chips. Like, it was very strange. But the line for beer was super short. And my co-founder of Oilers Nation, Jay, and I were like, this is amazing. These guys don't know what they're doing. No one's drinking beer. And you had to go and put money into a little machine on the wall and get a card with the Ajax logo on it. And that's what you would go buy concession food from. And we had 5 or 6 beers at the game. And we're like, this is unbelievable. Why isn't there anyone in line for beer? We went after the game and met up with an Edmontonian who was a Nation fan and our buddy. And he's like, oh, you boys were at the Ajax game, were you? And we're like, yeah, we're pretty cool guys. He's like, were you drinking any beers? We're like, oh, yeah. You know how we get down. We're always drinking beers. How many did you guys have? I'm like, 5 or 6. He's like, you feeling them? I'm like, of course. He's like, those are non-alcoholic beers. They're not allowed to sell beer with any alcohol in it. And like in 2025, you're like, oh, okay, I've heard of Budweiser Zero and all these other products. I had never in my life at the time heard of a non-alcoholic beer being for sale. And it really made me think about, well, what was I feeling in this moment? It felt like I drank 5 or 6 beers. I drank nothing.
You know what they call that, right?
A psyop.
Psyop?
Yep. Placebo effect.
Yeah. I mean, that's what came to mind for me.
Placebo effect?
Yeah. You're feeling good. Maybe it was leftover from the night before.
Because of their TV deals, I guess, and whatever league Ajax is in, there's the risk of hooliganism is so high at these games.
Yeah.
Like when we came out of the stadium, it was crazy. There were so many armored police vehicles there. There were so many horse-mounted police officers, like shoulder to shoulder. And I, at the time, thought I was drunk, but turned out I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was like, look at all these police. They don't fool around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a history there, right? So best to take care of that. How was Amsterdam?
Oh, great.
Have a good time?
I couldn't tell you any soccer highlights beyond the fact that they weren't selling us any booze. I don't even know what I was watching. Amsterdam's a really beautiful city. That's
I've
a
heard
great
good
place
things.
to go.
Beautiful flowers.
There's just a lot. Like the canals of Amsterdam are amazing. You could take canal tours and stuff like that. It's kind of like Vegas in the sense that you can get into as much trouble as you want. But if you're not really looking for like trouble, which I'm not, it's a lot of good times.
Interesting. On the topic of the football report, since we dropped that, the Philadelphia Eagles, some good news for them. Opening up the practice window for Brandon Graham, veteran defensive end, and CJ Uzoma, their tight end. Graham thought to be done. Tricep injury in week 12. We thought that was over. Like, he could have been done with football. But the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl. Now he's a chance to play. Obviously, probably going to be a game time decision. We'll have to wait and see. For Uzoma, that is a ab injury he suffered on week 17. Similar, going to wait till game time decision before that. And if you also missed it, Aaron Glenn making a hire for the New York Jets. Steve Wilkes, their new defensive coordinator. He, of course, was with the Niners in the season they went to the Super Bowl. They lost. Shanahan made some changes, fired Wilkes. He was out of football for a year, but he's popping back up with the New York Jets. And that's a little updates on what's going on in the NFL football report for Legacy Heating. Make sure you go check them out, legacyheating.ca. If you're in a bind or anything, they will help you out. Lots of text rolling in here about bad team names on the topic of the Utah options. K-Fed says a bad team I saw was when I was in a small town in Washington State. The town was called Aberdeen, and the local college that was there had a team name of the Chokers. It was supposed to be in reference to the chain that would go around a log because the town was known for its logging industry. Yeah, you don't want to be known as the Chokers. Socceroos, the Australian men's national soccer team. Socceroos. WC Baseball, Saskatoon Berries. What? That's a great name.
That's a great name.
I might wear my Berries hat tomorrow. Love it. Utah Orphans. The Utah Wampas. Monster from the frozen planet Hoth. Star Wars, right? Come on, guys. It's twice I've thrown to you. I've got no support. Is Hoth from Star Wars?
Was Hoth from Star Wars? Yes.
Okay,
sorry,
you.
I didn't realize it was a question.
And what was the Montreal name?
Victoire?
Victoire.
Of course.
Yes, okay.
Sorry.
I didn't know it was a question either.
Hey, I got to say line and then hope you guys jump in.
I'm dialed in.
Come on. Lock it in, boys. I can't do this alone. Just joking. Macon, Georgia.
Macon. Oh, not Ohio. I'm thinking of Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. Oh, yeah. Akron,
Macon, Georgia. Sorry, yeah.
The Zips of Akron, I believe.
Yeah, it's their university team.
One of the best team names, Millionaires, just not Vancouver. That place sucks. From JFL North Side. Cody says the baseball team, this one popped up already in my baseball team in my hometown is the Castor Raiders. But that's on the best names. A team no guy wants to get cut from.
I used to think the Savannah Bananas was stupid, but I've changed my opinion.
Great marketing.
They're
Great.
so cool.
Great marketing. When they sold out all those MLB stadiums,
yeah.
I said, Wanye, you clearly don't understand what's happening here. You need to get on board after the fact and pretend you were with them since day one.
We're getting a history lesson from Kai. The Utah War was a conflict between the United States government and Mormon settlers in Utah Territory in 1857 to 1858. The war was caused by tension over the governance and religious freedom. It's also known as the Mormon War or the Mormon Rebellion. All Mormons back then were declared outlaws. It will be the name from Kai.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All Mormons in Utah were declared outlaws once upon a time?
Yeah.
That'd be my pick.
The history of it is kind of cool now.
Thank you for messaging us with that.
Dev says the Devon Extreme. Very cringe.
The Outlaws.
Yeah. We're liking it.
I'm liking, well, if that's the origin story, that's amazing.
They score a goal, maybe they do the finger guns or something. It's their call sign.
Maybe they're scoring that goal in the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
Maybe they're up 9-0 in that game.
Delta Golf says about Mount Rushmore are best team names. Oh, man. Oilers. Chargers. Is the Raptors a bad team name? Like Stretty always said that was a bad team name. Like it named after a movie that was popular at the time.
Well, just a moment. The Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Velociraptor were around long before Jurassic Park. I thought Raptors was cool. I thought the whole dino motif was rad. It's better than the Toronto Canadiens or some nonsensical.
Matthias's Beard agrees with you about the Flames. Who would want a flaming toilet seat for a logo? Connecticut Sun from Dawson, Cleveland Browns, Maple Leafs, Calgary Flames. Yeah, the Sun. And Utah Sun's not great. Coach Al says Elks.
For one of the worst or best team names?
I think one of the worst. Who's going to have its haters? Victoria Salmon Kings from Chris and Victoria. How about the Utah Salt Lakers? From Jim on 149th. Matt the promo guy says maybe the LA Lakers where they have no lakes. Or Japan. Hokkaido Ham Fighters. Otani played for them.
We're kind of talking about this, but you know what branding really impressed me to no end was the Coachella Valley Firebirds in the AHL. Have you ever seen theirs? I got it up here right now. Their logo, their colors, like 10 out of 10.
So like black and orange and pink or something?
Yeah, like a firebird breathing fire.
Yeah.
Cool.
It is cool.
Sometimes you can go off brand and like it doesn't have to be immediately obvious why that firebird is in Coachella Valley, but it's a great brand.
Toledo Mud Hens, top 10 name, no debate. Best name, Lloyd Minster Border Kings from Brent. Also, Tim says the real alcoholic beers are the friends we made along the way.
It's a mind trip, though, when you thought you had 5 beers at a soccer game and you had no beers at a soccer game.
Yeah. Like, you're just like, why did I drink those?
I was livid, too, because they were expensive. In euros? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I get it. I also get why they don't have alcoholic beverages at those games. Could get a little feisty.
The fans around us were talking about, like, back in the day when they allowed mayhem in the stands, and like they have walls in between the sections, Connor, so the fans can't climb over like army ants and attack other fans on the other side.
Yeah.
You think us doing the wave in the second period's crazy? These people are doing way crazier stuff at soccer games.
We did get a text here. Hey guys, have you talked about the Jays signing from Frithie? Yeah, it kind of got dropped on us mid-segment here. The Toronto Blue Jays signing Max Scherzer to a 1-year, $15.5 million deal. That comes from Jeff Passan, also with John Heyman. So legit names there. Scherzer, 40 years old. He started 9 games last year with the Rangers last season. 3.95 ERA, 40 strikeouts over 43 innings. Also a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 2-time World Series champion, winning with the Rangers and the Nationals. He's played 457 starts in his career, 11th all-time. Hell of a career, undoubtedly. We'll see what happens next year for the Blue Jays. But management maybe kind of feeling the urgency to make a signing there. We'll see. It helps out in the rotation. I'm glad they did something. But yes, it's good to see them doing something. Gord Oil says topic's getting old. Can we talk about the Real Housewives of Vancouver? No,
we're talking.
No, we're not doing it. Not Vancouver. We have so many texts coming in here. If I don't get to yours, I'm sorry. There's just so many to get to, and yeah, 40% of Utah are not Mormons, so that's not going to fly. I guess that's coming to on the outlaw topic. No name. I'm going to ask for the name here. I will take a break here. When we come back, we might have jump into the Oilers as they're in action tonight. Can go over the lines, let you know what's coming up, because I don't think Colin Livingston is going to come in. We might have to get him on the program tomorrow instead. But we'll talk Oilers next. We'll let you know who's in, who's out. What we're expecting to see is the Oilers take on the Detroit Red Wings tonight down at Rogers Place. Just after 7 o'clock is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Liam Peace sitting in on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
McDonald's presents a hockey showdown like never before. McDavid versus Matthews. There can only be one winner, competing for all the glory and all the prize. The new menu features top shelf plays like the Smoky Quarter Poppy and the Big Mac David, so everybody scores, with even more delicious options like the Spicy Junior Chirpy. Now that calls for a silly Sunday. The Showdown menu, now available at McDonald's.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I'd like to thank all the people who buy new RVs. Buying your RV new is the most generous thing you can do to help your fellow man. Every year, thousands of people just like you go to the RV show or walk into a new RV store, pay full price, take great care of it like you always do, and then eventually sell it to us. And of course, we pay you market value for your used RV.
But that's tens of thousands less than you paid for it.
That's right, Bob. Could be half of what you paid for it when it was new, and it's still in great shape. So who gets the benefit of that reduced value? Our customers, that's who.
No Bull customers never pay full price for an RV because we only buy used.
Right again, Bob. So we'll enjoy the same RV you have now, only we pay like half as much. And it's only possible because you generously decided to pay that higher price when you bought it. So thanks again to all the new RV buyers, and we'll see you in a few years.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
What's my
Are you Ellie?
It's Mary Jane in the game.
And the game done chose me
To bring pain, pretty women to take thugs, wanted to say.
Ever since you told me
It's only room for two. I've been making less room for you.
now only God can hold me.
Hug me, love me, judge me.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than big bottles, it's Culligan.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
My only problem is their insecurity. Yeah.
344, welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz, Declan Kruger with you here. Liam Peace keeping us online on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Shout out to everyone tuning in there. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. We do appreciate it. I'm going to check in there right now. My notification bar is in the way. Dawson, Seabass, Oilers Nation. I think that's Declan or Liam. T-Man, there's actually another Connor in here. Shout out to the other Connor. Lance, everyone else, please hit that like button. We appreciate it. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get into the oil report now, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. You can save up to $12,000 on remaining 2024 Volvo demo models, only at the 13-time Excellence Award winners in sales and service. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. The oil in action, taking on the Detroit Red Wings tonight down at Rogers Place. The Red Wings, 11-4-1 since Todd McClellan took over. Wanye, we remember Todd McClellan.
Oh, yeah.
Good coach. When they hired him, I had thought, that's a good idea. Because I don't know if he's going to help them win a Stanley Cup. That's tough to do. But I think he's going to get them on the right track. We saw what he did in LA. It wasn't the most exciting brand of hockey, but he preaches defensive responsibility. And I think maybe that's what the Red Wings needed. Because since he's taken over, they've looked really good and now just 2 points out of a playoff spot. What is your fondest Todd McClellan memory? Do you remember anything from his time here?
I just remember him as bringing stability to the team,
Mhm.
right? Prior to that point, the revolving door of coaches that the Oilers had from, let's say, 2009 to when did McClellan start? 2016, somewhere in there. Was a tough time.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily remember any, because he was very stern, obviously. He wasn't necessarily cracking jokes and doing that kind of stuff. But my fond memories was just that I felt like we had a professional coach. And I felt like it wasn't somebody from the old boys club.
Mhm.
It was a professional NHL coach they brought in with no ties to the team. And at the time, Oilers fans, we were all tripping that everybody they hired was part of the old boys club.
Was good with San Jose previously.
100%.
Yeah, and going back like the decade of darkness previous leading up to it, like they were trying guys. Like Pat Quinn, that was a big name.
Yeah.
Tom Rennie, Ralph Kruger didn't last that long. Dallas Aikens was like, I guess, air quotes, outside the box thinking.
Ken Hitchcock.
Todd Nelson got in for a little bit. But then they brought in Todd McClellan and was here for 266 games, had a plus 500 record. And I think that's a good point. Like, kind of turning the worm, right in the ship for the Oilers when they needed to with Connor McDavid.
I thought it was a mistake when they let him go.
And then went with Jay Woodcroft?
I don't know.
No. Then it was Hitchcock after.
Yeah, it struck me as like he was doing a good job. The team was turning the corner.
Yeah, he would have been the first head coach since Craig McTavish to have a winning record by the time he was let go. Hitchcock takes over. Dave Tippett comes in for a couple of years. Jay Woodcroft. Now we're on to Chris Knobloch. What a journey it's been with all these coaches. Also for the Oilers, big news. I turned my prep book over. John Klingberg going to make his debut tonight for the Oilers. Hasn't played since November 11th of 2023. So it's been a long time.
What are you expecting?
I don't know. I honestly I think the fact that he's going to get out there and play again is going to be impressive, going through the surgeries that he's had. But it's the NHL. Like, the moral victories, like, that's a great story. We're going to look back and hopefully we look back at it fondly and say, man, what a move. I kind of got a low bar. Like, if he misses some passes, all right, hasn't played in a year and a bit. If he, turns the puck over, he's pressured and, bobbles it a little bit. All right, he gets a bit of a pass by me. But he doesn't have that much time, because if he doesn't show how good he can be, he could be done. Like, the Oilers could say, you know what? We tried. It didn't work out. And we're moving on. We're going to go get somebody else. And maybe Klingberg hangs around as a seventh defenseman. And then, playoffs roll around and he's feeling a little bit better, knocked the rust off, feels good. He's good to go. When Connor Brown came back from the big surgeries, he had a lot of time to find his game. And he could also be put down, lower down in the lineup. Like, it took him some time to get back. When he was back, he was fantastic. He's the Connor Brown we knew he was, but it took time. I just don't think John Klingberg has that much runway where the Oilers can say, we're going to give him more time. He's going to get more time, because the trade deadline is going to be here before you know it. And if he hasn't shown what he can be, I think they're going to say, well, we got to go find someone who can do it.
There's a few Oilers that have come here where I almost have to rub my eyes in disbelief to see somebody who you've seen play for other teams for so long in an Oilers jersey. Corey Perry. I'm like, I cannot believe that Corey Perry is an Oiler. Milan Lucic. I could not believe it when Milan Lucic was wearing Oilers gear. To me, Klingberg, he was so good for so long in Dallas. It's actually quite surprising to see him here. I mean, it's his fourth team in 4 years, right? And that's a lot. But if they can, this could be found money if he can slot into the lineup, because they gave up nothing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Just a little bit of money. And, you go back to Klingberg, his time with the Dallas Stars, like, he was a really good player. Didn't take the big deal, hit free agency, went to Anaheim. I believe he got $8 million. And that was pretty clear. He was cashing in, and it was kind of a win-win, I thought. Like, he's going to go play, make a lot of money, and the Ducks will flip him at the trade deadline for a pick. But it wasn't very good. It didn't go the way they would have thought. Went to the Maple Leafs, kind of struggled a little bit. And from afar, you say, like, oh, man, he's really fallen off. Like, what happened to him? But then you hear him speak and talk about how, he hasn't played pain-free since he was 18 or something. Like, he's had major surgeries, and now he feels pain-free. I'm curious to see how he feels after Dylan Larkin hits him. Like, how are the hips going to feel?
Now, does he have what Sam Gagner got done, where it was like the shaving of the hip bones, or did he actually get hip replacements?
Not exactly sure what the procedure was.
Yeah.
We could dive into it. Maybe Spec will know. We'll have to ask him.
Because that's a huge impact on a player if they're suddenly playing with reduced pain or pain-free. But I don't know too many athletes that get major surgery like that and never like return to necessarily to form. Like, that's a pretty major surgery to have on both hips.
It's going to be tough. But like, and this guy, like, if he goes out and just plays okay tonight, huge win.
Huge win.
Huge win for the Oilers. Also, Nuge, McDavid, Connor Brown, the top line. You got Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, second line. Air quotes. Jay Skinner, Enrique Hyman, and then Noah Philp with Janmark and Perry. Darnell Nurse going to play with Klingberg on the second pairing. You'll have Ekholm and Bouchard top pairing with Kulak, Emberson. To me, that's a very solid third pairing. I'm a big fan of that one if you can keep that together for a while. I think that could be a nice little thing, especially in the playoffs. Playoff Kulak? Are you kidding me?
Oh, he's a beast.
Absolutely.
I love Podkolzin this year. This is my guy. Finishes checks. He's pumped when he scores. You know?
Could score more.
Well, but at the same
They all
time,
could.
effort away from the puck is high. He finishes his checks. That's rare.
That's, to me, a guy knowing, like, this is what I have to do. I have to do these sorts of things to play with Leon Draisaitl. If Leon Draisaitl didn't want him on his line, he wouldn't be there. But he knows if I want to stay in the top six with this team and have success, get ice time, I got to do these things. Like, I got to create space for Draisaitl. I got to win puck battles. I got to get him the puck. And I think he's, offensive production could be higher. And maybe you say playing with a guy like Leon Draisaitl, you'd love to see it. Draisaitl's been so good this year. And Podkolzin's been right there with him. It works.
When I'm watching the Oilers game, I don't know if you're like this, Connor, but when I'm watching the Oilers game, I have a set of tricks I'll go to. I don't do it quite as much now that they're good, but my two things I would get on the Oilers about year after year after year, various stages of being drunk watching games, finish your checks.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand if you're not the most talented team in the NHL, sure, and you weren't blessed at the time with the best power play in the modern age, although now we have it, but finishing your checks is free, and then shooting and getting pucks to the net.
It's give a darn.
Yeah.
Like, and you just think about it, Juan, like in sport, when you know a hit's coming, well, let's just say in hockey, when you know a hit's coming, you have to rush that pass. You have to make it a little bit quicker than you want to. It impacts the opposition, knowing you're going to get hit. I know last year, there's a certain guy that did a lot of flybys, and he's no longer with the team. It's Ryan McLeod.
Okay.
A lot of flybys. I mean, but that wasn't his game, right? But I always thought if he would just add that element, like, he'd be even more of an effective player. He's a good NHL player. Would have been even better, I thought. Just wasn't his game.
I remember the first 5 games of Zach Hyman hockey as an Oiler. How many times this guy forechecks like crazy, man.
Yeah.
And he creates opportunities I have seen very few Oilers ever create because he finishes his checks and he forechecks like crazy.
And the Stars love playing with guys like that.
They love it. And like, when you see the amount of like the years of dump and chase hockey we've witnessed in this town, it's infuriating to me that players don't finish their checks.
Yeah.
Everybody in the league is capable of finishing their checks.
Plus, you become an icon in Edmonton if you're someone like that.
Oh, yeah.
People loved Rafi Torres.
Pat Maroon, now 3-time cup winning Pat Maroon, I swear is still beloved in Edmonton because he finished his checks and he had a blue collar work ethic and he gave a darn.
There
Right?
you go. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We got text rolling in here. Hey, I'm Kevin. Hey, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in. Has anyone ever said Utah Desert Dogs? I feel like that's what some people used to call the Coyotes. That would have been an interesting one. The old Desert Dogs. But I haven't heard that one. Utah should become the Roadrunners. They ended the Coyotes.
How did he spell dogs? Was it D-A-W-G-Z? Because you might have something there. Zed's from the street.
D-O-G-S.
Oh, that's not as fun.
No name on that one, but the Roadrunners ending the Coyotes. That was a good text. Please follow up with your name. Over under stars for Max Scherzer. 4. A surf in the kingdom of Delburn. Over.
What?
Over under starts for Max Scherzer for the Jays. Then I read his name. Sorry. My bad. I took the long road. Over. Please, over. Is this real? Top 5 names to vote on for the Edmonton Prospects are Cobra Chickens, Burrow Bandits, Prairie Pirates, Jacked Rabbits, New name for an awesome new ballpark built in Spruce. You know, that might have been the second part of what you're saying. Badgers, magpie, porcupines. Yeah, I've heard that park's going to be sweet. Looking forward to getting out there and checking it out. Another small town that makes me laugh from the rig. Drive carefully. Children playing. Kill them. I do remember that name. Dylan K. Oh, sorry. Do not read on air. Well, I guess I could read it on air.
Now, hold on. How can you text something to the radio station and say, do not read on air?
No, here's the thing, Wanye. People have said that at the end of a text, and I read the text followed by, do not read on air.
Then do not text the station.
Just tell me beforehand. Dylan in Rosedale, thanks for the text. Elmer Fudd is another texter we got. I wore a red plaid jacket once, and Kevin Carius says it's my Elmer Fudd jacket. 1, Elmer Fudd didn't wear a red plaid jacket. 2, I just wore it to support Canada at the Canada soccer games when it was really cold out. Nothing more Canadian than a little red and black plaid, right?
Did he have a hat that was plaid?
No. I was wearing essentially this with a black and red jacket. And Carius called me Elmer Fudd.
Well, you know that nicknames don't need to make sense.
I don't like that nickname. It's not a good one.
That's how you get a nickname to stick. You say you don't like it.
Oh, I know. You're right. Brad just texting in per spec. Klingberg had double hip replacement at 18 and then again at 21. Like, that's wild. They don't like doing hip replacements that young.
So replace them. Is Klingberg?
Yeah.
Jeez, man. We sometimes as armchair quarterbacks fail to take into account how much pain athletes play through. Like, if a normal person had 4 new hips put in them by their 22nd birthday, you wouldn't be asking them to do anything, much alone perform at a professional level.
Well, now Connor, not me, texting in hip resurfacing. It was the same as Patty Kane.
Oh, okay.
Conflicting reports. Either way, it's heavy for someone that young to have to go through that. And just like take a step back, not hockey fans. Like, you just hope he can play.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to suck to have the game you love kind of taken away from you or having to do it with so much pain. I'm just hoping he can get out there and rip around for a bit.
I think about this all the time with Oscar Klefbom.
Yeah.
And how he said basically by the end of his career, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't lie down in a bed and put any weight on his shoulders. And like his quality of life had eroded and we're like, but you have such a great value contract. Yeah. Well, okay. But if you can't enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Klingberg with that much major hip surgery by that age, like, man, he's dedicated to the game because he probably hasn't needed to do it for a while now.
Yeah. He had $8 million from that one contract. Tiger says, hey, comment, what time's pregame? It's going to get going at 6:00 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. And a lot of people following up. It was hip resurfacing, same as Patrick Kane, Darcy, Dean, Walter, probably more if I scroll up. Thank you for texting that in. Soggy Corp says, if Klingberg can make any sort of difference in the room like Keith did, we might have an amazing third line pickup. Intangibles could be a factor as well. Soggy Corpse.
When they brought Duncan Keith to the Ice District during playoffs, and they're like, Oilers legend Duncan Keith. I was like, man, those were such weird times. Remember how like that was when everything was locked down, right? And then like Duncan Keith's an Oiler. Like, what is happening right now?
When you talk about like players that like were brought to the Oilers, like never would have seen it coming. Never. Duncan Keith. That's another one. Evander Kane. Like, it was just
Mike Green.
I
couldn't believe it.
Didn't last too long, but he opted out of the bubble.
Yeah.
That
was the end of him.
Lots of great text here. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll get to more of them. We'll talk some more Oilers. Maybe talk a little bit about the quarter century team. Who are your snubs? McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, Bouchard, Nurse, Roley, top unit. Your second team was Hemsky, Horkov, Smith, Ekholm, Jason Smith, and Tommy Salo. Now, reminder, this goes back to 2000. So it's been 25 years. So you don't want to mention, Gretzky or, those guys, anything like that. But since 2020, those are your top Oilers, top 2 teams. Any issues with that, please let us know.
That's an interesting point, Connor. Like, if you did include the Oilers in the top 2 lines of all time for the Oilers, is it the first line all 80s and then the second line
right now,
Connor and Leon, or have Connor and Leon now jumped Curry and Anderson and all those guys?
All time, Connor's on my top line. In my opinion,
Gretzky,
he's
Messier,
the
Connor?
second most talented hockey player outside of Gretzky. Hot take? So Gretzky, Curry, McDavid? That'd be sick. We can talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Who's your all-time Oilers team? 3 forwards, 2 defense, 1 goaltender.
Curry had 135 and 131 point season back-to-back in 73 and 78 games. He had 71 goals in 73 games.
That's so crazy.
I got
68 the next year.
No issue if you want to put him on the top team. No issue with that one. Let's take a break. Northside loses. Elmer Fudd did wear a red and black plaid jacket. I did Google it. He wasn't wearing that. It's personal to me. Well, maybe he did once, like I did once, and we're just twins. Let's get to a break. And a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Get where you need to go this winter with the mid-winter clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible saving. Complete details at fountaintire.com. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Just when the weather is freezing your nosy, someone's got a new menu that's tasty and cozy. What? It's Booster Juice. Now you can warm up and chow down with a savory selection of grilled fresh favorites. Breakfast wraps, chicken wraps, grilled cheese, steak, and chicken paninis. Topped with melty cheese, creamy pesto, spicy chipotle, grilled fresh options made in-house, warm and delicious. Made daily with the finest ingredients. Cozy comfort food at Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Honey, look, there's a 75-inch TV on sale for the big game.
No.
Oh, come on. We could be the football house in a couple of weeks for Super Sunday.
No.
Oh, but I already invited David, Rhett, and Bryden. And you know Bryden, he's bringing his cousin who we brought to our wedding.
What? No. Ew. That guy was hitting on my mom all night. They are not coming over. Go to On the Rocks.
Yes, On the Rocks. Okay, ontherocks.yeg.com. Oh, look, only $30 each. We get a seat, prepaid moosehead, team t-shirt, chance to win $1,000 cash. Hey, babe, great idea.
Love you. Go have fun at OTR.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends. Swing by during the 2024 model clear-out and take advantage of January rebates of up to $9,000 or access finance rates as low as 0%. The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Could your school, charity, or community group use financial support with a capital project? Maybe Vision Credit Union can lend a helping hand. Vision proudly offers helping hand grants of up to $10,000 to qualifying organizations for capital projects that benefit our branch communities. Apply by January 31st, 2025 for a chance to qualify. Helping Hand grants up to $10,000 from Vision Credit Union. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
For 4 o'clock, welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger with you here. Got Liam Peace as well. Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. You're listening on Sports 1440. The text line, 1-833-401-1440. If you'd like to get a text into the Ewell inbox, score with your Power Play partners at Ewell. Get all your electrical needs at ewell.ca with 24/7 ordering and shipping in Edmonton and across Alberta. Lots of texts rolling in here still. RL says Connor is not as good as Messier, and until Connor wins a cup, he's probably not top 5. Respectfully disagree. I think Connor McDavid, is terms of players we've seen play hockey, is just one of the best. That being said, didn't see Messier in his prime. So if you want, you can hold that against me for sure. Saw Messier with the Canucks and the Rangers a little bit. I was 7 when he won in New York. So my evaluation skills weren't that great. Terrific actor, great in the Lay's commercials, but I don't know. You let me know. The older crew can confirm that.
5 cups to no cups. No offense to Connor McDavid. I would put my top
6
3
cups for Messier.
Well, 5 with the Oil.
Yeah.
Right. I'd go Gretzky, Messier, Connor, Curry, then Leon. That's my top 5. Who's your top Oilers goalie of all time? Grant Fuhr?
Yeah. I think it has to be.
Bill Ranford's pretty good.
Ranford was good too. That is a good one. Hey guys, the hip resurfacing is also called the Birmingham technique. Walking on crutches after a couple hours. Corey. Yeah, my sister got a hip replacement, a TMI, but she was walking a couple days later. It's ridiculous. Mark. Oh, thank you for the kind words, Mark. I won't tap myself on the back.
Don't read on air?
Well, you could read it on air, but we won't. Messier was a beast. Gretzky didn't win after leaving Edmonton. That's true. That is very true. Even when he reunited with Messier in New York, they still didn't win.
What's that documentary? All the King's Men? Is that the one that follows Gretzky? They talk to Gretzky now about being traded to LA.
King's Ransom.
Yeah. And he's on the driving range. And he says, if I hadn't left Edmonton, we would have won 7 cups. I almost started crying.
They probably would have won more. Who was beating them? Who was a good team in the 90s? The Canadians? They won a cup at one point. Didn't they beat Gretzky's Kings?
I was 7 when Gretzky got traded. Didn't even like hockey. And the rage everyone felt in my grade 2 class. I'll never forget. Like all the little kids getting together and being like, can you believe what happened? So he got traded during the summer, but we came back in the fall. That was hot conversation.
It's funny because I told the story about how on my neighborhood, everybody was rattled when Doug Waite got traded. 184th Street over in La Pearl. We're like, no, not Dougie. Not the same as Gretzky, but
I just bought an amazing Doug Waite Oilers hat.
And he got traded.
Copper and blue. Remember those joints? They were great.
Oh, absolutely. Rantanen will be McDavid's Curry. Finish Flash 2.0. Coach Al said Gretzky center, McJesus wing, Messier wing, Coffey and Lowe on defense, Grant Fuhr in net.
Imagine if somehow you could, using technology, watch a shift or a game with those lines and see Connor navigating around. Like, is he just exponentially faster than all those 80s Oilers and he looks sped up next to them?
Yeah, but the technology's changed so much too, right? I think like skating's come so far back in the days of like Bobby Orr to now. Just like training, technology, come a long way. 90s Penguins, yeah. So if you had like the Oilers that stay together up against like Mario, Jágr, Ron Francis, and Trache go there at the end.
Larry Murphy,
Tom Barrasso in net. That would have been a heck of a rivalry.
I wonder if it's one of those things though that like if Jack Nicklaus played around with his equipment from back in the day against Tiger Woods in his prime, like he's 200 yards back off the tee from him. Could you really have teams from different eras play each other? Or would it just be so ridiculous?
I think I don't think you can compare them. Like same with players from different eras. I think it's too tough. You know, if certain players had to go back in time and play with the equipment they had and, you know, taking the travel that they did, I think it's too tough. You can try. I know there's like era adjusted stats, but I think it's tough. Someone had texted in about the 90s Red Wings. Yeah, but the 90s Red Wings, it wasn't until like mid 90s. That would have been like, what, 4 or 5 more years of Oilers? who, like, I'm thinking early 90s, who are the top teams playing? That's a good question. We bring in Terry Ryan now, former NHLer, star of Shorzy. TR, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Doing some.
I think we have his fader on.
Oh,
Terry, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
We got you. How are things?
Good. It's a busy week, obviously, with Shorzy just coming out. I think I spoke a little bit about it last on Tuesday. But yeah, we're doing that, and the Newfoundland Regiment's coming. We got a QMJHL team, so everybody's pretty excited. Not that I'm part of it, but I mean, will be at every game, and I'm going to do some promo stuff for them, but I'm not involved in any way of bringing them in or anything. I'm just an excited fan. So the week has been largely dominated by those two stories.
The Regiment. That's a sick name for for a hockey team. Have you seen the stories about the Utah HC? They're going to be either the HC Outlaws or Mammoth now. The other name that they had talking about the mountain range has been axed. So if you're talking Outlaws, Mammoth, or Utah Hockey Club, do you have a preference?
Yeah, I'd go with Outlaws. I think there's good. I think it's better for marketing. Something about the name, and you can go a lot of different directions with it. I think it's cool. I think it's West. There's something about that. It's that whole area is part of the Wild West. You could kind of get away with that. Certain places, St. John's was the Outlaws. Be a nice name, but it wouldn't really have anything to do with our heritage. But I think they've struck something there, and it's rather, I don't want to say intimidating, but to me, it's more intense than the other two options.
Edmonton Oilers in action tonight, taking on the Detroit Red Wings, who since the hiring of Todd McClellan have looked a lot better, like 11-4-1, a couple points out of the playoff race. So what has impressed you lately about the Detroit Red Wings and just what they've been able to do? And maybe you can talk about that, just having that new coach bump.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's something to be said for that. And it in some guys, it's just signifies change. In some guys, it's like, you know what, I might get a different chance here. I can reshuffle the deck here, with the other coach. It's not always malicious or birthed out of animosity. Sometimes it's just, you need a fresh start. Someone might see something in you that you knew was there, but you'd kind of close the book on for a little bit. Whether it's, hey, maybe I can penalty kill, or I can move up a line, or I can go from a scoring role to a checking role, whatever it might be. Often you shuffle the deck a little bit. And let's not forget, Todd McClellan's a good coach. So some bumps are different than others, right? But we know at least his track record that he seems to be a fairly respectable guy, players kind of guy. So it doesn't really surprise me. And I think they were underachieving. To be honest, I think they got a lot of great parts there. I mean, it was only a year ago, wasn't it, that Patrick Kane decided to go there. So they haven't changed too much since. I don't think at any point in the last 2 years they were any kind of odds on to win the cup. But making the playoffs doesn't seem like too much of a stretch for me with the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, and I mean, you just look at the current standings in the East. It's going to be a heck of a race. The Atlantic Division in itself is going to be fun to watch. I know the Ottawa Senators have had some success, but you're going to have the Tampa Bay Lightning making a push, and can we rule out the Boston Bruins? Who knows what they can do? So it's going to be tough for sure. Coming into Edmonton tonight, Oilers coming off their win on Monday, had the 4-2 win, a little bit more rest. For the Edmonton Oilers, what do you think key to victory for them? And actually, you know what? Let me ask you about John Klingberg. He's coming off the hip procedures that he had a couple of years ago. Same surgery that Patrick Kane had, or procedure. How tough is it going to be, in your opinion? Like, you can go out there at practice and look good and skate all around, but then when the lights are on and you've got the opposing team coming at you in the way that they're going to be, how tough do you think it is going to be for him to get back out there?
That's the most intriguing question of the week for me, because, hey, I would have taken a chance on this guy. I mean, we're talking a great NHL player here. Now, I've heard him say the last little bit that he's going to go into this game for the first time in a decade pain-free. If he was 38, I'd say still no. Is he 31 or 32 years old? And a guy with over 50 points as a D-man multiple times. I think once he had nearly 70. People say it didn't work out with the Leafs. Didn't work out with the Leafs because he didn't play many games and he was hurt. But for my estimation, It's worth taking a chance on, and this could be dynamic. You don't really know. What we do know is that he can be a good NHL defenseman and then some. We know that. We also know he wouldn't be trying to come back if he didn't want to play. The Oilers obviously did their homework, and they signed him. Now, what we have here is a 32-year-old stud that has been injured and now is playing without any pain whatsoever. Now, does that mean that he's going to be the same player he was when he was 22? Probably not, but I don't think we're as far away from peak 432 as we think. Now, I could be wrong, but that's huge. To be first time pain-free in a decade, and within that decade, you've gotten 50-plus points multiple times, and you're brought in to arguably the best team in the NHL. I don't know. To me, I see it. I don't know about flying colors right off the bat, but I see this as a win, and I do. I think he's going to play well. I think he's going to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I mean, and not just any surgery or pain like hips. I mean, just day-to-day life would be tough, let alone going out there and playing, top competition at the NHL level. His partner will be Darnell Nurse. What do you think Darnell Nurse can do to try to make it as easy as possible for him?
Well, I think I think it complements him well. It's not only from the way he shoots to, Darnell Nurse is sneaky creative. I keep saying that. I know he doesn't have the, when you're watching him, he doesn't seem to skate with too much grace or anything, but it's deceiving. And I just go back to that pass he made last game to Corey Perry, if you want one example. But I just think he's a very mature player that knows the situation. Darnell Nurse can adapt. Darnell Nurse can play tough. He can play creative. And he's got a lot of experience. And if I am coming in that same position as a D-man, who do I want over there? I want a guy like Nurse. There's only so many in the whole league like that. So, and it signifies he's going to get a chance to play a lot. So I think, again, it's I don't want to say win-win, but it's putting him in the best possible situation to succeed.
Former NHLer Terry Ryan joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanya, and Gretz sitting in for the vacationing Jason. TR, Jeff Skinner going to get back into the lineup. Obviously, it hasn't gone the way he would have hoped this season. I mean, scores a goal against his former team, then he finds himself in the press box. It looks like he's going to get the opportunity tonight to get back out there with Adam Henrique and Zach Hyman, a line that I love on paper. How tough is it, do you think, mentally for Jeff Skinner, being a proven goal scorer in this league for a long time, coming to Edmonton where nothing's really gone easy for him?
Yeah, I know. And there's, part of me feels for him because as a player, and I think people listening, it's not just the NHL. It's relative, man. Think about it. If you're trying to make junior B or junior A or whatever it is, the dub, if you're talking about baseball, whatever it is, if you go somewhere and you're expected to do something and you have it in you, and it's a combination of, maybe he wasn't in sync with players he was with, a lot of bad bounces, and then all of a sudden, you start fighting it, you start squeezing your stick. I mean, we're not too far removed from Jeff Skinner being an ace forward that can get that can get a lot of points for you. And he hasn't played like it this year. There's been spurts, but this is hockey's version of survival of the fittest. At the same time, Brandon Saad's out there; he's available, right? So I think there's going to be 3 or 4 Skinners on every team that that see the walls closing in, and it's up to you. You got to perform. It's like I said earlier in the year, it's an 82 game season, right? So, but when it's game number 10, game number 20, you can just pass over a lot of mistakes and say, it'll come out eventually. But right now it's crunch time. We're getting into the playoffs. You got to see who you want to play, who's going to be solid for you, and it's not just scoring, but if he needs to work on anything as a scorer, start with putting the puck in the net, right? And then we'll go from there.
TR, just very quickly, I know you're a fan of the Jays. They signed Max Scherzer, 1-year deal, $15 million, 40 years old at this point. So I guess on the back 9 of his Major League Baseball career. Does that move excite you?
It does. I think they had to do something, a little bit of egg on their face with their non-signing, say, and even even recently they made some decent moves, but they dug themselves such a hole publicly with the non-signing of Soto and last year. Oh God,
Shohei
Ohtani.
Yeah.
Brain cramp. Yeah. So, and people were expecting things, and not only that, it's not only the players they didn't get, but I think last season everybody expected them to at least make a run at the playoffs, if not be in. I mean, some sports reporters in other markets were picking them as World Series candidates. So they really, really had a disappointing year. They had to do something. Scherzer's a name. Yeah, he's 40, but he's a name. Is he worth the $15 million? I think so. I think we could see magic in this day and age. You take care of yourself. We've seen many pitchers, of course, mostly knuckleball and junk guys, but Scherzer's a smart dude, man. And same thing. I think he still has it. Maybe not like he did at 28, but he's still a name. Jays fans want to see something. They want to see something. It's not all about winning and losing. It's not all about having a star, but do something. Like do something. You couldn't have done any worse as far as expectations go last season. We got Vladdy Guerrero there now. I mean, you're hanging on to a guy, let's say superstar, if not almost, with a lot of potential still in the tank. I think guys like Scherzer not only can help lead, by the way, can actually help in other ways. I mean, we talk about that in hockey. It happens in baseball, right? As a pitcher, even if you're in your prime, you're only playing once every 5 or 6 games. So you got to add something to the dressing room. Hopefully you're not a total jerk, right? And that's happened. I don't want to comment, but it's happened. I want to name names from what you hear. But, a guy like Scherzer, I think he just ticks all the boxes, and he's a known name that can get it done. But more than anything else, I mean, it's a little bit of insurance. If the year starts going south, every so many games, our fans can see Max Scherzer, who's probably a Hall of Famer, come out and do his work. So I just don't see how they lose there.
TR will take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. Take a look around the NHL. This is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
We believe that great projects start from the ground up. Well, to be accurate, great projects start from the underground up. We're GS Construction, and from pipes to drainage systems, we're always laying the groundwork for a better future for Edmonton. While the month of January may be slow for some, GS Construction is gearing up for a busy year ahead, preparing to build, repair, and replace tons of infrastructure to keep your systems running smoothly. To find out more, including new job opportunities, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Commissioner Allen Auctions Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring tandem and single-axle trucks including cab and chassis, box and hoists, diggers, day cab and highway tractors, man lifts, pickers, plows, and van bodies. Info at maauctions.com.
You know, this year I can't decide what to work on for my New Year's resolution. See, my confidence, my appearance, or my general happiness.
Why not improve all three by finally addressing your hair loss? Hi, I'm Dr. Vancelia. Receding hairlines and bald spots can chip away at your self-image, make you look older, and feel unattractive. Let's discuss your options for regaining a full natural head of hair and make this the year you get your mojo back. Book a free first consultation today at drvancelia.com.
Sunday, February 9th. The biggest game of the year. On 30 TVs.
Only at On the Rocks. Join host Ryan Jesperson at OTR's Rock and Bull Super Party.
Tickets only $30 and include
Guaranteed seating,
a team t-shirt,
prepaid moosehead,
and an all-you-can-eat tailgate buffet.
plus prizes each quarter.
And one person will take home $1,000 at the end of the game.
Rock and Bull Super Party, February 9th.
Tickets at ontherocks.yeg.com.
Commissioner Allen Auction's public unreserved equipment auction is this Friday at 9 a.m., featuring 2 unused 2023 Case SV280B skid steers plus backhoes, forklifts, excavators, graders, LaRue snowblower, snorkel lifts, telehandlers, utility vehicles, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Just when the weather is freezing your nosy, someone's got a new menu that's tasty and cozy. What? It's Booster Juice. Now you can warm up and chow down with a savory selection of grilled fresh favorites. Breakfast wraps, chicken wraps, grilled cheese, steak, and chicken paninis. Topped with melty cheese, creamy pesto, spicy chipotle, grilled fresh options made in-house, warm and delicious. Made daily with the finest ingredients. Cozy comfort food at Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Lying in my bed, hear the clock tick and think of you. Caught up in circles, confusion is nothing new.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, 60-cent wings, plus play Oilers Score and Win for On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
From
Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Terry Ryan, Wanya Gratz. We got Declan Kruger, Liam Peace with you here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. You can also watch on Sports 1440's Instagram if you'd like. We are also streaming there. If you miss anything, check us out on Apple, Google, Spotify, jasongregor.com. All the podcasts will be uploaded. Right now, we are going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution with clear paths for long-term development, offering borderless hockey, including provincial and cross-province competition. You can visit hockeysuperleague.ca for more information. We bring in Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. Take a look around the NHL. Dennis, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hello from Tampa as the team's out hit the ice between the Kings and the Lightning. Great to be with you today, Connor.
Yeah, happy to have you on here. Well, what's the atmosphere like for this game tonight out in Tampa?
Well, the big news is that we all thought Drew Doughty was going to play one game, 15 minutes this week. Well, he played 23 minutes in Florida last night, and he's playing again tonight. And that's not even the biggest news, Connor. They scratched Brant Clark again. So the pitchforks and torches are out in Los Angeles at the fan base because Brant Clark's not playing. It's going to be interesting to see how Drew plays in a back-to-back game against another very talented team in the Lightning.
Yeah, just thinking about Drew Doughty, I imagine telling him he's going to play 15 minutes in one game. I don't think that'd go over very well. I think he'd say, no, I'm going to play as much as I can, and I'm going to play the next night because that guy's an absolute gamer. Dennis, we've got the Detroit Red Wings in town tonight taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Former head coach of the LA Kings, Todd McClellan, really steering the ship in the right direction for Detroit in his, 14 games there? 15, 11, 4-1. I guess that'd be 16 games. He's really turned it around. Does that surprise you from what you've seen from him? I would assume not, because the guy is a heck of a coach.
Yeah, no, I spent 4.5 years with him, Connor, in LA. Had a great relationship with Todd. Here's the thing, and Edmonton fans know this. When he came in, he was going to get their attention. They were going to play harder, and it's going to be more structured to their game. And I don't even put this on Todd. The way that team performed for Lalonde in the last couple of games before he got fired was criminal. I watched those games. They didn't care. They weren't trying. The compete wasn't there. Todd's come in, structure. There's talent on this team. Look, I love Lucas Raymond. I think he's the best player on the team. So there's talent there. I think, Connor, if I had to pick two wild card teams for the East, one would be the Rangers right now. And I think the end of the season, I think Detroit gets in. So Todd's done a great job. And as you say, it's exactly how he coaches teams.
Yeah, and that Eastern Conference playoff picture is ridiculous. That was actually going to be my next question because, outside of Tampa, you've got Columbus, Detroit, Montreal, the New York teams, Philly, and Pittsburgh. Furthest team away is Pittsburgh at 5 points from the final wildcard spot. It is going to be a heck of a race in that division. Now, let's talk a little bit about the home team here for the Edmonton Oilers. John Klingberg going to make his season debut. He hasn't played since November of 2023. By all accounts, this is the best he's feeling, saying he's a little bit pain-free or is pain-free for the first time in as long as he can remember. So, John Klingberg, what are your expectations for him in his return to the NHL?
Well, because of the surgery, the type of hurt, the hip resurfacing, you have guys like Backstrom who never came back, and then you have a guy like Patrick Kane. Looks like a new player. So I think manage your expectations. They'll need him at some point, but this is the perfect time to get him in a lineup, Connor, because you got a couple games before Four Nations. If it doesn't go well, you can see how he reacts to playing in some games. Then you're okay. If he's fine, then you have another guy on the right side, which everybody knows they needed for the playoffs. So I think it's a smart move. It's a low-cost, low-risk move. It depends how he comes out of the first couple of games to see if that hip resurfacing surgery really works.
Dennis, speaking of Patty Kane and earlier the Wings, and assuming they're buyers, what do you think they'll go for looking into the playoffs?
Maybe another defenseman. I think they got enough offense, Terry, to be honest with you. I just like the way they play. And if he's healthy and Tarasenko is healthy, I just think one more defenseman because I think, if you know Todd, he's going to focus on defense. So I think if they had a stay-at-home defenseman, that might help this team because they're not a great defensive team. He brought in structure, but I think you need a little bit of an upgrade on the blue line if you do want to make the final 8 in the East when we're done with 82 games.
Four Nations Cup coming up. How do you think the pace is going to be? A scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the All-Star game last season and a 10 being the 87 Canada Cup.
Terry, you can't tell me on Saturday night at Bell Center, U.S. versus Canada is an exhibition game. You can't. It's going to be more like the 7th game of a Stanley Cup final than an exhibition game. I remember last year at the All-Star game, we had a gifting suite. Players came in. Cale Makar. I want to ask Cale about Four Nations. Before I can before I can finish the question, Terry, he goes, I want to play. These guys are motivated. I get it. Some guys like Petro don't want to play, whatever. I get it. But most of these guys have been waiting a generation for this, right? Guys have never experienced best on best internationally. So, I get it. Like, maybe you don't have great ticket sales for non-Canada games, but these players are jacked. They want to play. They've been waiting for a long time. Plus, it's a precursor for the Olympics and for the World Cup of Hockey. So, these guys have waited a long time for this. So I think when we get to Montreal and Boston, you'll see elite hockey play.
Yeah, good.
We're joined by Dennis Bernstein of the Fourth Period live from Amalie Arena, downtown Tampa, as the Kings taking on the Lightning. Dennis, I want to ask you about Brandon Saad, and probably surprised a lot of people taking the pay cut, terminating his contract like $5.4 million to leave the St. Louis Blues. Respectable. I admire him being able to make that decision. Obviously, he's made a lot of money in his career, but where do you think he will look to land for a chance to be a legitimate Stanley Cup contender?
Well, it's got to be a contender, right? Right. That's one thing. So you could cut out. If it's a legit Stanley Cup contender, Connor, how many legit Stanley Cup contenders are there? 8, 9?
Yeah.
So maybe like a team that I could see, maybe Dallas. They always seem to look to add. Jim Neal's a really smart GM. He doesn't give up a lot when he adds these guys. So I think Dallas and maybe a team that needs scoring without question other than LA here, and they won't be interested in him because he's a left shot. LA needs a right shot. Would be the Islanders. Now the Islanders have won 5 straight, but what do we know about the Islanders? All right, they're a solid defensive team and they can't score. So I think those are 2 teams I would look at, one in the West and one in the East. That might be a contender for Saad.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy to think just to do that. I can't
to walk away. He's a better man than I am. I wouldn't have walked away.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have just said, you know what, I'll suffer for the money. But hey, good for him. We'll see what happens. How about Miro Heiskanen and the Dallas Stars out week to week and probably could have been a lot worse. Yeah. The timing might be good for him just with the Four Nation faceoff where he's not going to miss NHL games at least. Just how big of a loss is that for the Dallas Stars?
Huge loss. One day he'll win the Norris Trophy. It's a huge loss. But you're right, Connor. All these injuries like Markstrom and Heiskanen, you're not getting a break because these players are injured. But the fact that you're only going to miss a handful of games and be out a month is a huge boost for some of these teams. So if you're ever going to get the misfortune of getting an injury, it would be right now. So I think that's what. So like if you miss 5 or 6 games, they can manage that. They couldn't manage a season-ending injury for Miro Heiskanen. That would have been death for that team's playoff hopes. So I think that they catch a break there, and then you hope on the back end of the Four Nations, he's ready to go and ready for the stretch run for the Dallas Stars.
Dennis, if the Penguins go 1-9 in their next 10, is there a world where Crosby gets moved?
No, he's never leaving. No. And I know they love to fantasize, Terry, about him going to Nathan McKinnon and Nova Scotia boys, the Nobi boys. Yeah, okay. Well, then you know what? Then nobody's going to show up the game. That's the guy you trade? No, I trade Brian Rust, who has a move but might be open. I'd trade thing about Geno Malkin. I would trade Ricard Raquel. There's so many other guys to trade. You don't trade that guy. I'm sorry, Terry. It's great for us in media to talk about it and fantasize about it. But then just, then make them the Philadelphia Penguins, because the people in Pittsburgh probably won't come to the game.
True.
Just a couple more for you here, Dennis, before we let you go. The Carolina Hurricanes making that big deal, acquiring Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall as well. I know Taylor Hall, for him, probably a chance to maybe get a little bit reinvigorated after getting out of Chicago. But for the Carolina Hurricanes, I mean, for what I would think, you don't make that deal unless you can re-sign him. How confident are you that Mikko Rantanen will sign long-term in Carolina?
Connor, weren't they confident they would sign Jake Gensel?
Good point.
And now this guy. Now here's the thing, Connor. He said, remember, listen to the interview he did. He said, I would have taken less to stay in Colorado. Well, your target was $14 million. So how much less would you have taken? 13.8, 13.5, 13. They couldn't pay him. You got to pay him a car. You're not going to pay him more than McKinnon. Here's the thing. This owner in Carolina is not the most lavishly spending owner, and he didn't spend it for so it depends what Mikko does in the playoffs. Now, I get why they traded for him. They need goal scorers, and this kid had the 55-goal season on his resume. I'm not sure they reach on him. It makes him better. It makes him dangerous. Hall, if he wakes up and does anything on a third line as a depth guy, is good. I'm not sure. I think this is a big risk as well. And you gave up a player who has potential and a future in this cash. There's risk involved in this. Now, they might be confident. But again, if you ask Tom Dundon, okay, we're going to give Mikko Rantanen 13.5 for 8 years, he's going to swallow hard, and it might be a tough conversation with the owner.
Dennis, it's going to be interesting, and I just hope there's a few more trades like that. They don't come around too often, but what a shocker that was on Friday night. Enjoy the game tonight. Should be a fun one, and we'll get you back on soon, I'm sure.
Always great being on Sports Team 1440, Connor. Thanks for the time.
There you go. That is Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. Great having him on. Big guest of the day brought to you by the Hockey Super League. For more information, check out hockeysuperleague.ca. TR, I don't know if you saw this news, and I'm sorry if I just throw it at you. I just saw this as we were talking about that interview. Shawn Simpson, 30th overall pick of the Washington Capitals, a longtime media member with TSN 1200 in Ottawa, passing away today at the age of 56. He was the last guest we had on the previous regime of our station down the dial on 1260. No details coming out right now, but did you know Shawn at all? Any interactions with him?
No, I knew people that did, though. Small world, the hockey world. He's a little bit older. When I came into the league, I guess, came into pro hockey. He's 56. So there you go. He's 9 years older than me. So, he'd already made a lot of impressions and had a lot of stories and had a lot of experience. But so I'm not saying this just to honor the guy. I really did hear a lot about him. I heard he was a super fantastic dude. He was a goalie, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I honestly, I'm just learning about this now. So I'm not going to, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know him well enough to be devastated, but I really didn't know. I know I got a lot of heartwarming vibes. I've never heard many people say bad of him, and he was a fine athlete, great goalie, seemed like a better person. So another one gone too soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Just pass along our condolences to his friends, family, colleagues out in Ottawa. Just terrible news, and just thought I'd bring that up because, I had not even seen that. And brutal. He was a friend of the station, had hopped on a few times talking Sens with us, and he was terrific. So really sad news there. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get back to 5 questions with Declan Kruger. We got Terry Ryan here. I'm Connor Halley, Wanya Gress as well. And we got Liam Peace keeping us on track on the social feeds, the streaming ones. Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Also, if you want to watch on Instagram, you can check us out on Sports 1440. We'll take a break. It is the Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Elevate your game with the Basketball Show, hosted by me, Paul Sir. Tune in Saturday mornings at 10 for expert insights, exclusive interviews, and the latest hoops action. It happens right here on Sports 1440.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Planning for your future. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your 2024 taxes, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. Don't wait. The deadline to qualify for 2024 tax deductions is March 3rd. Learn more at VisionCU.
Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by playalberta.ca. Use promo code Gregor50 when you make a deposit and you get a $50 free bet. Use your game sense as well. Know your limits. Stay within it. Be smart with that money. Right now, let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. It is The Brick's Friends and Family Sale today until Sunday. Up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, bedroom, and dining furniture. Also, smart TV starting at just $149 only at The Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right. Question number 1. As is customary, it's Oilers game day. Can we get a score prediction and a bold prediction for the game tonight?
Wanya, I'm going to let you start. Terry, I'm going to forward these questions along to you as well, so you know what's coming up.
Well,
Yeah,
you
no
know,
problem.
I'm good.
I'm good. Declan fired him over to me during the break. So I think it's going to be 5-2 Oil. And I think the Oilers are going to get 2 empty net goals. And I think Zach Hyman's going to get a hat trick.
Ooh.
There you go.
Sounds like a hell of a game. I'm going to tune in.
Yeah.
Wanya, what do you got here?
Well, I've never bet against the Oil. I think 5-2, somewhere in the neighborhood. 6-2, 5-2 is looking pretty good.
Bold prediction?
Boy, I mean, Zach Hyman hat trick's pretty awesome. How about another Jeff Skinner goal? That'd be nice to see.
All right. I'll say Oilers win 4-1. Of course, we're all taking the Oilers to win in this one. And Klingberg scores a goal. How's that for bold in his first game since November of 2023?
All right. Question number 2. Do you have any issues with any of the captains or alternate captains for the Four Nations tournament for any of the countries?
Why don't you start this one?
Yeah, I have no issues with anything. I don't think that there's anything to get really that worked up about. Sidney Crosby being the captain, I think, is very logical given his position in the game, and there's plenty of tournaments for Connor to be the captain of Team Canada. I got no issues with anything.
TR?
I'll say now what I say every time someone asks about a captain. It's a ridiculous question to somebody that's not in the room and doesn't know these guys. I mean, with Austin Matthews, I can't believe it. Tomorrow, you know what? It's their own room. You know, I think everybody on the team respects Crosby, right? McDavid. To us, it's just putting a letter there to the best player. But to everybody else, I'm sure they're going to be happy with Sidney Crosby being the captain. And barring something crazy that we don't know, it makes perfect sense. I find it ludicrous to be commenting on captains for teams when I'm sitting on my couch well past my prime, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've got no issue with it, especially a tournament like this. I think maybe the U.S. should have gone with JT Miller as their captain, but missed opportunity with that one. But no, honestly, no issue with it. I think all these guys have pretty good choices. Very cool for McDavid and Ekholm to wear the A's for their country.
All right. Question number 3. It's kind of become accepted knowledge in the football world that Justin Tucker is washed as a kicker. And now, given the off-the-field news surrounding him, is he on the Ravens or any NFL team next season?
I guess I'll start with this one. I don't think so. I mean, we now, granted, we saw Deshaun Watson, and when it came to his accusations, it was north of 20. Justin Tucker's around 6. He's dropped off, and you know, his reasoning enough is with the play, which wasn't very good this year. I hated a statement to come out and say this didn't happen. You're essentially calling all these people liars. I don't know. I'm going to take the 6 verse 1 when it comes to this situation. So, yeah, I think Justin Tucker, as a kicker, he was very good for a long time. But, you know, you factor in this with his lack of success on the field this year from long distances, I'll say he's done.
Hate to agree with everything you're saying, but I think you might point to Deshaun Watson as getting another chance, maybe, and saying that's somewhat of a success for people in the same position, but that's an outlier, and it's just I don't like it. He didn't have a great year. I don't know. If I'm the NFL, I know you got to hear everything, right? You got to hear everything. We're just reading headlines and assuming, but still, do I need to take him and bring that to my team for what gain? I just think it's a lot of risk for a little reward, and you know, it's not an allegation to comb over easily.
Yeah, per words of Peyton Manning, just idiot kicker.
Yeah.
I think the NFL, a lot of sports teams will look the other way on off the field transgressions, but it's what are you going to bring on the field? And we could sit here and say, due to ethics and due to morality, they're not going to keep him around. But I think you hit it on the head, Connor, where he's falling off, and this is just going to speed his decline out of the league. This is pretty gross stuff.
Question number 4. Do you think Taylor Hall is a Hall of Famer?
I'll go here. I hate, like, I love the guy as a player. I hate having to say no here, but I think he's a great, but no player wins the MVP of the league isn't a great player. And I think he's had a splendid career, but I think what's his goals at 200 odd, 0.700 odd. Yeah. To me, I don't know. I think you'd need a little more. Now, who knows? He's got a long time to play. If he wants to. I mean, he's still fairly effective. Can he put up numbers to put him in the Hall of Fame? I don't know. But to me, it's hard to look past guys like McGillney, Kovalchuk, Zetterberg, Kachuk aren't in there. And there are outliers like Jose Theodore that won the MVP that aren't in. They're just like real good players. But the Hall of Fame, I don't know, there's a level of prestige. Is he on the bubble? Maybe. I hate to sit here and put down a player that I absolutely love watching, that I think wears his heart on his sleeve and for his style of game really cares and is a leader and has done a lot of good. But you're asking me objectively Hall of Fame? No.
No, no. To me, it's not even close. You look at some of the other guys like Corey Perry, were really good careers, a 50-goal scorer, won the Hart. Also has the international accolades, winning on the biggest surfaces. Taylor Hall, now granted, the Olympics were never there, but there's no guarantees he would have played on those teams. He represented Canada at the World Juniors, where he was very good. But I just don't think there's enough there. 190-point season, a 180-point season. Other than that, it just hasn't been enough. So, yeah, very good player. There's been some injuries, been some movement around, but in some bad teams he's been stuck on for times in his career. But no, not even a discussion for me.
I'm with you, boys. No dice. Sorry, Taylor.
And I agree, by the way, to make it 4 for 4. Question number 5. Would you rather spend a year in Antarctica with only a couple others? I'm thinking like researchers or something. Be lost in the Amazon jungle with a knife. Be stranded in the Sahara Desert with a week's worth of water. Or be lost at sea in a very weak, very old paddle boat.
So you're telling me I could pick 2 people to spend a year?
No. That's what I'm. No. You don't get to pick. Like, it's not 2 of your homies, and you're just not shooting the what for a year. It's like they're researchers. They're there to do work. They're not really talking to you. Like you have people around, but it's not like they're friends. You know what I mean?
Well, that sounds better than lost at sea in a leaky old boat. My heavens, I'll take the Antarctica one.
Okay.
TR, what are you thinking here?
Well, the Antarctica one doesn't sound life-threatening. It just sounds boring and cold. So now, barring that, if it is life-threatening, I would take the jungle with a knife, because the other 3 situations, there's only so much time. The weather, your surroundings are going to get you. I guess they could in the jungle too if we run into a panther, but I still have a chance. But of course, with no threat, I'd just go up north and wait it out and spend a year of my life reading and watching TV.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Now, Declan, if I take the Antarctica, do I have to take, am I flying or by boat? Because I've heard the Drake Passage is no joke. Like, it's going to be choppy waters.
Yeah, you'll fly to like the Falkland Islands, and then you'll take a boat from there.
My goodness, that might actually change it. I was on a cruise once, and I didn't like the waves.
And I'm going to up the stakes a little bit. Polar bear army just kind of rolling around as well.
Dang,
just to add another element of
How organized are they?
They're smart, man. They're like those. You ever see that movie Deep Blue Sea where they give the sharks like the Alzheimer drug? These polar bears have them now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Are we with like a professional shooting team here, and are we inside?
You're at like a research facility.
Yeah, I put 100 polar bears outside if you want. I mean, I'm sure that they would. And we got connections to the outside world. Hey, there's polar bears. Can we get some protection up here? I'm inside. They're not going to come in and get me right now.
Yeah. Now, do I have like a video game console in Antarctica? Either way, that's my answer. But is it just going to be boring, or
you have one of those old TVs with a VCR and a copy of Mac and Me
versus a week in the Sahara with a week of water? Like, what on earth?
Yeah, give me the Antarctica.
Yeah, you know, as I kind of explain the question and keep trying to up the stakes, I realize it's not exactly an even playing field. So I do apologize.
No, but I rather live or die. These are life-threatening situations, and the other is just going to be boring for a while.
You know what the craziest part is? I thought of the Antarctica part first, and then I was like, these other 3 seem like good comparisons, but clearly they were not.
If you take away Antarctica, I would say probably like TR, give me the jungle. At least I have a knife.
Yeah, the elements are going to kill you the other way. You're essentially the other 2 options. You're on a timer.
Yeah.
Yeah, great way of looking at it.
TR, thanks so much for doing this today. We do appreciate it. What's on the schedule for you? Any more trips coming up soon?
I'm going to be at that very game we spoke of, Canada-US. I got my tickets today. Jordan Escott, my buddy, there you go, ex-Growler. Now plays senior hockey home here. One of the reasons I played on the Growlers continues. My friendship to Jordy continues to pay off, and he hooked some tickets today, and we're going to go up after this. I'm just going to book my flight and off to the races.
Beautiful. Have a great time. So we'll talk to you Tuesday, though, correct?
You'll talk to me Tuesday for sure. I will be in Bonnyville, Alberta at the end of the month on the 28th to speak at a dinner there. Just follow my Instagram, Terry Ryan 2020. For details, and I'll also be possibly in Stettler soon. Thank you for that email. And lastly, guys, I think Gretzky's turning into one of the most underrated players ever. I heard you guys talking about it earlier. I'm going to send you a clip in his last year where he makes everybody look stupid. He's definitely way faster than people remember. Might be the rules, might be whatever. Watch him going down the wing when he goes top shelf. I think it's on Vernon when he's with Edmonton and he's shorthanded. The slapper, I mean, just watch his feet moving. This guy was a bullet. Second of all, I will say, well, maybe fifth of all, when it comes to Gretzky, I can keep talking. I'm talking to an Edmonton audience. Look, I love Connor McDavid. I do. But I think relative dominance, you try to compare people. It's hard to compare eras. But right now, Gretzky wouldn't be anything less than second in scoring if Lemieux was in the league. But it would be two of them way out in front. I know you miss games here or there. Lemieux won it one year, I think, with 60 games played. I like Lemieux and Gretzky. I think they're 1 and 2 offensively ever. And McDavid would have to win a few more scoring championships and at least be consistently up there. Again, for 16 years, it was only Mario Lemieux or Wayne Gretzky. I don't care if you get 500 points or 50. If you're always, without a question, on top, there's something to be said for that. But I'd love to have the argument or the debate maybe next time.
I got a quick one for you, TR. Gretzky never leaves. Oilers continue their dominance. Who wins in a best-of-7 series against the, 91, 92 Penguins?
Like, arguably, if you take the late 70s Canadians, you take those Oilers, you take the Islanders just a little bit before that in the early 80s, and you take that Penguins team. I mean, I don't know. It's a great, I wish, hypothetically, of course, we had a chance to see that. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I'd have to think about it, and it's still a totally subjective answer, but they're my two favorite players ever in Lemieux and Gretzky, and they're supported with a star-studded cast of players that are not only leaders, not only point getters, but legends, a lot of Hall of Famers. That would be a tough one.
It's crazy. TR, thanks so much for doing this today. We'll chat with you next week. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Declan. Thank you, Wanye. Thank you, Edmonton. See you guys again soon.
There you go. That is Terry Ryan joins us every Tuesday and Thursday here on the Jason Gregor Show.
We should have asked Larry Murphy who would have won.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even get to that topic yet.
He would have had an interesting...
Declan, give him a call.
Yeah, call him back, Declan.
Get him on the show. A lot of people saying, hey, guys, no polar bears in Antarctica. Well, for the sake of the question, maybe they were just dropped off there to make life a little more difficult.
Yeah, sorry. I want to clarify. I do know that polar bears are not native to Antarctica, and Liam also pointed that out as well. I was just trying to do what I could to artificially make it more dangerous. I almost didn't even go with polar bears. I almost went with like a wild tribe or something. But
you ready for this, Declan?
Yeah.
I'm a Hollow Earth believer, so I think we don't even know what's up in Antarctica. What's up with that? What you know about that?
Up in Antarctica?
Yeah, Hollow Earth theory.
Down
in Antarctica? Are you a flat earther too?
What's up? No, that's silly.
Can't be flat and hollow.
Hollow Earth, on the other hand, that's pseudoscience.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Mark Spector. Oilers set to take on the Detroit Red Wings. Puck drop just over 2 hours away. We got pregame coverage for you here on Sports 1440 from 6 till 7 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. So don't go anywhere. Specs up next. Right now, I'll get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Shake those wintertime blues with Booster Juice and enjoy some of our many warm and savory grilled fresh food options made in-house daily with the finest ingredients. Visit a Booster Juice today or download the Booster Rewards app. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Action set to go in the NHL in just a moment's time. Here we have 4 games: the Jets and Bruins, Wild and Canadians, Capitals and Senators, Kings and Lightning, and the Chicago Blackhawks and Carolina taking on the Hurricanes. Later tonight at 7 p.m., we will see the Edmonton Oilers play host to the Detroit Red Wings. A couple of lineup notes in that one. John Klingberg set to make his debut. Jeff Skinner drawing into the lineup for Kasperi Kapanen, who's out with illness. Stuart Skinner getting the start. 5 games tonight in the NBA, 2 set to go in just a moment's time here. Lakers and Wizards and Hawks and Cavs. 3 other games on the schedule. We'll see the Timberwolves and Jazz, Rockets and Grizzlies. And the late game sees the Magic in Portland taking on the Trailblazers at 8. News in the sporting world as right-hander Max Scherzer and the Toronto Blue Jays are in agreement on a 1-year, $15.5 million contract, according to sources, and Ravens kicker Justin Tucker has been accused of inappropriate sexual behavior by 6 massage therapists. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been Sports 1440 Update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Some might like to play hide and seek or even that Where's Waldo game. But out of sight, out of mind is never something GS Construction ever says. Yes, what's underground might be out of sight for everyone, but it's never out of mind for GS Construction because it's not fun and games ensuring Edmonton's underground infrastructure works for you. We take our job very seriously. And even though we may look like we're pretending to be groundhogs, we're really keeping things running smoothly. To find out more, including new job opportunities, visit gsconstruction.ca.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Is it Riverside Motorsports?
No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
It's the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. For 4 days only, they're extending their VIP offers to everyone. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, bedroom, and dining. Save up to 40% off mattresses. And get a 10% credit to use towards sleep accessories. Save up to $1,000 off major kitchen appliances. Up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus VIP in-store only deals on appliances and electronics. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The moments we need healthcare are some of our most vulnerable. You deserve a system that supports you. Our healthcare system can't wait any longer.
Visit rebuildourhealthcare.ca to learn more.
Start 2025 with peace of mind. Consider pre-planning your funeral with Connolly McKinley Funeral Homes.
Planning for the future is an act of love. It goes beyond practical considerations. It's a heartfelt gift to your family, sparing them from difficult decisions during a time of grief.
Pre-planning also ensures your legacy is celebrated the way you envision, while providing comfort and clarity when it's needed most.
Book a no-cost, no-obligation appointment. Visit connolly-mckinley.com or call 780-590-0626.
Your furnace can die in the blink of an eye, usually on the coldest night. So why take that chance this winter? Furnace Family, ATCO's newest home service company, can help. Not sure of your furnace's condition? We can check it for free with the purchase of a new furnace, giving you peace of mind and total comfort all winter long. Daikin offers lifetime warranty on their furnace heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. So call Furnace Family, Home Services by ATCO today. Jingle time.
Done right, day or night. FurnaceFamily.com.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Doc, I really want my hair restoration to fly under the radar, but I recently read that men have to shave their heads and go full Lex Luthor before treatment.
The majority of my patients don't require head shaving because we can work around it. I can perform a no-shave FUE transplant or an FUT transplant if we determine that a transplant is necessary. Let's discuss your options.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. The Jason Gregor Show is brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. You can log in today. Use promo code Gregor50 when you make a deposit and get a $50 free play. Make sure you use your GameSense. GameSenseAB.ca. Stay within your limits. Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Liam Peace with you. Here, the text line, 1-833-401-1440. Lots to get to on the show, of course. We're just about 2 hours away from puck drop down at Rogers Place as the Oilers hosting the Detroit Red Wings. With that, we'll get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. They're specialized in underground infrastructure. They make your life more enjoyable with running water and indoor plumbing. They're the grinders of the construction industry. GS Construction. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joins us now. Spec, how you doing today?
Oh, pretty fair. Nice snowy day here in the Big E. Got a hockey game tonight. Todd McCullen's in town. Brandon Saad's maybe going to be in town. What the heck?
Do you have any info there? Is that confirmed?
No, I would say the Oilers are like a bunch of teams having internal talks, but I guess what I would think is that, I don't know. There's only one team out there whose current general manager won 2 Stanley Cups with Brandon Saad and brought him back to Chicago in an ill-advised trade that cost him Artemi Panarin. There's a relationship there for sure between Bowman and Saad. There's no doubt. I think the question, I'm going to assume Brandon Saad is looking to go somewhere where he has a chance to win a Stanley Cup. He gave up $5 million to leave St. Louis. So I would put the Edmonton Oilers in as serious a position for him if they want to be as any other team in the league, wouldn't you?
I would think so. I mean, how many Stanley Cup contenders are there? True Stanley Cup contenders. I would have the Oilers in that conversation. If not Edmonton, where else do you think could make some sense?
Well, Dallas would make sense. Vegas would make sense. Toronto would make sense. They got room for him there for sure. So, the player's going to sign for not a lot of money. And it's really going to be up to Brandon Saad where he wants to go. I'm not sure. I wrote a column today on sportsnet.ca. It's up now. I'm not positive. How old can you get? How many veteran guys who are some version of what they used to be can you have on your team? I'm not sure the Oilers really need this player, I'll be honest with you. And I think they're trying to figure out the same thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I looked at it. Like the Oilers, do they necessarily need to bring him in? I don't think so. Would he hurt? Obviously, I think, it shows a lot about his character that he's willing to just step away from that type of money and chase a cup. Like he wants it. He's the guy you want to have in the room, but I just don't know if I think the Oilers necessarily need him. Wanye, thought on Brandon Saad and if they need the guy like that?
Yeah, I don't think it's anybody that we need to bring in. It's a bit sus when you walk away from a contract.
It's wild. It's crazy. Spec, John Klingberg, another big story for the Edmonton Oilers going into the game tonight. He'll debut second pair with Darnell Nurse. I think we're all hoping for Klingberg to get out there, and he's talked about being pain-free for the first time. It's such a good story just for him to get back to the NHL level and get out there. What do you think is fair expectations for him in his first game back since November of 2023?
Well, if he played a game tonight that you didn't even notice him, that would be a giant victory, right? He needs to play a very quiet game. He needs to get in, 14 minutes of hockey tonight would be awesome for him. And he doesn't need any points. He doesn't need any great plays. He needs to be like a referee, right? Where you leave the game and go, who reffed this game anyhow? That would be the best start for him. I learned today something. We talked to him at some length today. I knew that he'd had hip issues. I didn't know that he told us when he was 18, he had double hip surgery. And then he had double hip surgery again at 21. And neither of them, quite frankly, got the job done. And he has never had healthy hips. Even when he was really good in Dallas, he was playing in discomfort and he didn't have his full range of motion. So he claims to have all that now, which is really good news. To me, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that if he doesn't fix this hip issue, nothing's going to happen, right? If he's not healthy, he's never going to get back to where he was or even a close version of it. So the first hurdle is be healthy and be pain-free and pull it off. He said he played some contact hockey with the team he was skating with, the OHL, in terms of, contact drills, getting roughed around. He told the team, don't worry about hitting me. I need to get hit. So, will he be able to suffer contact in the NHL? I think he should be able to. So let's see what happens, guys. But certainly the first hurdle of health, he seems to be doing great on that end of it. So now let's see where it goes.
Yeah, now the time for talking is over. We're going to see what he can do. That's actually really encouraging to me to hear that he has taken hits because, if you're Detroit, you're looking at this guy, okay, it's not the greatest, nicest thing in the world, but you have to hit him. It's hockey. That's what's going to happen. So he's going to have to be able to take these hits.
Yeah. Come playoff time, what do? They dump it in your corner and they drill you. Like, that's our sport here. So you can't be a defenseman that doesn't want to get hit, or you can't be an effective one anyhow.
Just thoughts on the pairing with Darnell Nurse. So what do you think Darnell Nurse gains from this, and how does he, if he does, is there any ways to change his game to accommodate Klingberg?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think the last thing you want right now is Darnell Nurse changing his game. His game is the best it's ever been. I think we could probably say that now. I think this is the best Darnell Nurse that we've ever had. So you don't want him changing his game in any way, but maybe I would think that this is the perfect time to give Darnell Nurse a guy like this, because he's very confident, because his game is very sound. He's not taking a bunch of chances. He's not skating the puck all over the place. I think this version of Darnell Nurse is probably the easiest one to play with than we've seen in a long, long time, if not ever. So, if I'm John Klingberg and I can't fit in with him, maybe the coffee will have to move him around. But I'd say this is an opportune time to have Darnell Nurse breaking in a guy like Klingberg.
Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz sitting in for the vacationing Jason. You mentioned it, Todd McLellan in town since taking over the Red Wings, 11-4-1. Wow. You spent a lot of time around the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings when he's with the Oilers. We've seen him a lot when he's with the LA Kings, 3 straight playoff series. Probably no surprise to think that he was the guy to help turn this thing around in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, there's new coach bump, and then there's just a coach who comes in and is, he's been around a long time now. He can walk into a team and in a very short time see where it can get better in the short term and what it needs to do to get better in the long term. Like, Todd's a pro, he's like a doctor that doesn't have to diagnose you very long to know exactly what the problem is. So sure, I think 11-4-1, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And let's wait and see. Like, if this thing falls off the edge of the cliff, then color be dead wrong. But I don't think it's going to. I think Todd is a veteran guy who knows who to deploy, how to deploy them, and when to deploy them. And I'm sure he's got that team's attention because he's had success. So good for Todd, good for the Red Wings. I think hockey's a little bit, I've say this about certain teams, but I think hockey's a better place when the Detroit Red Wings are relevant. They're an original 6 team. It's a great hockey market. So let's hope McClellan can keep him relevant for a while here, take a run at a wild card spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Steve Yzerman, the Yzer plan, we've been watching it for a while here, and it hasn't quite turned around, but maybe this is the move that makes it happen for the Detroit Red Wings. Just sticking on the topic of coaches in the NHL, and I don't think I've asked you about Chris Knobloch in a while. So, we're over a year and a half about since he took over for the Edmonton Oilers, a year and 3 months maybe. What have you thought of his growth as a head coach in the NHL?
Oh, he's a smart coach. And the reason I say that is we always judge coaches in hindsight. We always, us media guys, we very seldom predict what's going to happen, but we're really good at telling you what you did wrong, right? We make a living at that. Chris Knobloch's made all kinds of different moves, in-game moves, lineup moves, putting people together, sitting people out, doing things different. Very, very, very seldom have we looked back after a game or after a week of games and said, oh boy, that was a dumb idea. Why would you have done that? I can think of, forget what it was. He put a line together. He stuck with it for half a game. We all realized it was a bad idea. He did too, and we never saw it again, which I respect, right? You find your mistakes and fix them quick. So my point would be, for a first-time NHL head coach, his success level is unprecedented for sure. And I just think he's smart. I love the way he mixes his lines up and Coffey and Stewart mix their D pairs up. So when, what hits the fan in the playoffs and they got to completely shuffle the deck, everybody's played together already, right? Look at Brown. Brown's on the first line tonight. Hyman's on the third line. If you have to do it in the playoffs, they'll go, oh yeah, we did that. We all know each other. We all played together. So to me, that's smart coaching. Hey, what are you supposed to criticize a guy who took his team in his first season to one win from a Stanley Cup? You're not going to hear criticism here, pal.
Yeah, and I always kind of like to look back at that because we ran in here on that Sunday to do a show. It was Brandon Douglas and I, and when the name was brought up, like I don't think too many people were familiar with him. I can't say I was. I'm not going to claim that I was. He was the Rangers AHL coach, but he just became the perfect fit, and it wasn't a household name, but it worked. It kind of just makes you wonder, like, are there some other names out there that we should be looking at as potential head coach rather than recycling the same old?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, don't ask me who they necessarily are. I'm still a
Mhm.
guy who can't believe that Todd Nelson can never get an NHL gig. He's had such great success in the AHL for so many years. I don't get that one bit. And I think I think at this moment we should note that in terms of, you're right, coaches recycle. Look at Todd McClellan. He's on whatever team this is, his fourth team or something. Jay Woodcroft can't find his second team yet, right? So unfortunately for Jay, and this isn't me taking a shot at him or anything, that coach isn't recycling for some reason. So maybe we're getting away from just, the knee-jerk move is to just hire someone that got fired. Joel Quenneville's out there. I think he'll get another chance somewhere. That's a little more complex of an issue, but maybe we're getting away from that a little bit. We're seeing guys like Carberry come into Washington and, had anyone heard of him? Well, look at the job he's doing in Washington. So maybe the times are changing a bit, Connor.
Yeah, I think so. Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Some news out of Utah today. Not sure if you saw it, but looks like the Utah Wasatch will not be their team name, taken out of the voting. And credit to Ryan Smith and the hockey club for reacting and adapting. They get rid of that. They bring in the Outlaws as a new option. So now fans can vote at games between the hockey club, the Mammoth, and the Outlaws. We've had a lot of people actually texting in saying the Outlaws is growing on them. Wanye as well. What do you think of that name?
I don't mind the Outlaws. Like, think about it from a hockey standpoint. So the Utah Hockey Club, that's a soccer thing. So get rid of it. Like, that's what soccer teams do. The Mammoth are big and slow and extinct. I'm not sure that's what you want your hockey team to emulate. Like, what does an outlaw do? Sneaks in, stealthy, steals the big bag with the $sign on it, and spirits away on his horse. Maybe that's how you name your hockey team.
I like that. I like the marketing that you could potentially do with it. And we had people telling us the history of, the Mormon outlaws back in the day in the States. So yeah, I don't know. It kind of seems cool.
Were there Mormon outlaws?
Well, so I don't want to butcher this one. Yeah, what was it? It was basically there was a battle between Mormons and the government, and they just declared them all outlaws.
All the Mormons were declared outlaws in one shot, Spec.
No way. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, then I love the name.
Oh yeah, it gets cooler the more you dig into it, actually. So I'm hoping that's what it goes with.
If it's got geographic significance and it's the outlaw, that's awesome. I'm sold. Outlaws it is. I put
Also,
my stamp of approval on it.
Well, then it's going to happen because I didn't know this, but according to one of our texters, Alfred, you and Jim Matheson got Kevin Lowe's name up in the rafters.
Me and Jim Matheson did that? Well,
I'm
still waiting for my bottle of wine from Kevin Lowe then.
I had to ask you about that just to see what else kind of pull you have. Maybe you can also get like, I don't know who else would be. Maybe just me in the rafters. What did you think of the quarter century teams for the Edmonton Oilers?
I think they're mostly pretty accurate. I don't know. The weirdest part of the whole thing for me was Chris Pronger, because he's the best defenseman to wear an Oilers uniform, since Paul Coffey, but he didn't play for him long enough to make this team. I get that. It's a bit of a conundrum. I would have had him on my team. I think who was their defenseman on their first team?
It was Bouchard and Nurse.
On the first team?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Second team was Ekholm and Jason Smith. But texters bring up Ekholm 2 years. Like, he hasn't been here that much longer. And just factoring how dominant Pronger was, that was kind of the omission I think a lot of people have thought of.
Yeah, Pronger's an omission. Jason Smith should be in the top pair. Like, Bouchard's going to be if Bouchard's career arc continues, I get it. He's having a bit of a clumsy year. I have no doubt that in the next quarter century, he's on the first pairing of that team. Right now, he hasn't played enough high-level hockey, in my opinion. He's had 1 year where he was totally elite, and that's it. He doesn't beat Jason Smith in terms of longevity. Now, he will, right? I think that Evan Bouchard will beat Jason Smith one day. He doesn't beat him yet in my books.
Can you break down for listeners that may not have watched Jason Smith spec why he's so great for a stay-at-home shutdown defenseman?
Yeah, exactly. He was like, he was so tough. Back when they fought more, he was willing to fight. He could skate really well to defend. He went out of his way to put the body on people and hit hard. Tough as nails. Block any shot, play through any pain. A leader, wore the sea. Like everything you want out of a hard ass, tough as nails defenseman. That was Jason Smith in Edmonton. He was like Wendell Clark on your blue line, man. I got all day for the style of game he played. And if the Oilers had one of him right now, they wouldn't be looking for a second pairing defenseman to play with Nurse. I'll tell you that for sure.
Thrilled you said that, because I was debating someone that had said Steve Staios was better than Gator. And I'm saying I was younger, but Jason Smith was one hell of a defenseman.
All props to Steve Staios. He wasn't better than Gator. Gator was a better player, tougher player, more elements to his game, I think. And Staios was tough too. I'm not trying to carve on Staios here, but if you told me I only got one of them, be Steve Smith all day long, or Jason Smith all day long.
I saw a photo of Jason Smith. They brought him in for the Cup run, the Oilers Legends, and he was posing for a photo with a fan, and his thumb went at a 90-degree angle from the direction it should go. Like his thumb looked like it bent sideways, and like the injury that you would have had to have suffered to have your thumb heal like that. It's crazy how tough Jason Smith is.
He was really tough, like high pain threshold, man. He wasn't, he wouldn't miss a shift. He just a great, a leader, a guy you could follow. That's who you want as your captain. Right? This guy was a team player, and he led you where you needed to go. Took him all the way to the end 1 year. So, no, to me, he's on your quarter century team on your first pairing. And if you don't agree with me, then tough luck.
Yeah, it wasn't the line about Jason Smith. Like, if he tells you he's hurt, take him to the hospital because something's seriously wrong. Like, man, he was so good. I used to just remember the 2006 Cup run, like players trying to get past him along the boards, and it was just like, no, he's grabbing you and slamming you against the boards. Yeah. He was awesome. Well, Spec, thanks for doing this today. Enjoy the game tonight. Oilers Red Wings should be a good one.
All right, boys, talk to you tomorrow.
There you go. That is Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joining us as he does every 5 o'clock on the Jason Gregor Show.
I wasn't sure about Gator, not to diminish what he's done, but if Spec says that he belongs there, Spec knows what he's talking about when you look at the last 25 years of Oilers hockey. Tough, though, to compare Evan Bouchard to Jason Smith, right? Their games are just so different.
Yeah. Oh, almost couldn't be more different.
But if you're trying to put two top lines together,
man, like, and that's one of those things, and I'm probably, victim to this as much as some people, but kids born 2020, no. 2000 2020, they'll definitely not see it. But like, if you didn't see Jason Smith play, it's tough because like YouTube, there's not much there for him. There's not going to be the Jason Smith highlight package, but you just had to see it. Similarly to, I don't know, we'll just drop a name that Spec said, Steve Smith. He didn't mean to, but he said it. Hard for me to really like appreciate how good he was. Or, Charlie Huddy. People say like how good of a stabilizing force he was. I didn't really see it. We see Gretzky, we see Messier, the highlights they do, but those guys who, stay-at-home defensemen, hard to say really.
I'll tell you where 2020 Oilers fans' heads are at, because I have one at home, Connor. I told Wanye Jr., who asked me, is Gene Principe Connor McDavid's dad? And I said yes, just to keep the conversation to a minimum during the game. And now he always says, where is Connor's dad? And he's talking about Gene. We've stepped through a doorway. It's going to be hard to step back through.
Gene, the best, but he's not Connor's dad. Not Connor's dad.
Unless you're talking to Wanye Jr., then he is.
Lance says, in defense of Bouchard, he had one of the best playoff point-wise since Paul Coffey, and that includes Pronger. Yeah, absolutely. And, you had defense in there. Bouchard's defense, was pretty good during that run as well. Dan says, I remember Gator coming down the ice after some guy creamed a rookie named Alish Hemsky. It wasn't pretty when he got there. Oh, and he had like missing the tooth. He just had the look, like he always had the beard going. Number 21. I'm biased. I love number 21. LT GOAT. Yeah, he was just he was something. That blue line they had, I'm trying to think. It was like Pronger Smith, Staios, Spacek. Who else was on the 2005?
Bergeron.
Marc-Andre Bergeron?
Well, remember what he did to Roley?
I remember his hip check against the Dallas Stars.
Someone put a photo of the trainer checking on Rollis in a game 1 of the Stanley Cup final on Twitter the other day. And I was like, why would you do this?
Yeah.
Why would you dredge up the horrible history of that night?
Dick Tarnstrom.
Dickie
there you go.
Tarnstrom.
Stu Barnes sent that one in too. Igor Ulanov.
Yep. Probably a pain threshold on par with Jason Smith as the two toughest Oilers of all time. Ulanov could play dead.
Smitty gets his due. Puck in the face coming back.
100%.
Like mangled face.
What year was it that Draisaitl had the messed up leg in the playoffs and he still kept playing and he was so obviously hurt?
That was the
17?
cup run. Oh, well, no. Then they lost to the Avalanche. Because they beat the Kings. That's where it happened. Mikey Anderson beat the Flames, right? And then lost to it. Yeah, high ankle sprain. Yeah, get some respect for that one. Brewster says Gator had the 5 o'clock shadow at 10 a.m. Oh,
did he?
What a man.
Him and Steady Steve Staios. That was a hell of a pairing.
Yeah. Brad asked, was Nienema? No, Nienema was gone before that. Traded to Philly?
You ever see the photo of Nienema his last year as an Oiler and then his first year as an Islander? Ever seen those photos side by side? One, he looks like the happiest guy in the world. He gets traded to the Islanders. He's just so glum. Getting rid of Nienema was a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, he was a good Oiler.
Great Oiler.
Like, in a bad time to be an Oiler, right? Yeah, it was there's some good players. Like, this is a fun debate. You could build some pretty good debates, especially when you make it like all time and who's on the first team, who's on the second team. The text line is buzzing now. We're getting nostalgic. So they're at Smead. Smead wasn't on the 2000. He was later. He was like the Cogliano Gagne era. I remember because I saw them at Oil City.
Cool.
Gagne and Cogliano were very cool. Schmid, way cooler. He chatted with me for like 25 minutes. I bought him a Stella Artois.
You want to hear a flex?
Yeah.
I went to Laddie Smead's wedding. The first one.
Did you?
Damn right.
As the date?
Nope. Not with Laddie. He was getting married. Married my boy's sister.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Right on.
Yep. Super nice. Went around the room, talked to everybody. Laddie Smead's a gentleman.
Oh, yeah. He was awesome. I remember my friends were texting me. Ask him what kind of car he drives.
While you're at the bar?
Yeah. As like he and I were just chatting. I think he had like an Escalade or something.
One time my buddy Mike talked to Steve Staios at Cowboys for like 20 minutes. To this day, we all respect him more. I have no idea what they talked about. Unbelievable.
You'll never know. That's between them from here on out. Okay. We had a text to Jason Smith. Next Wall of Fame.
He deserves it, man.
Part of me thought he was already there.
What's the protocols for how often people are getting added to the Wall of Fame? Is it every year?
Oilers Hall of Fame. Once a year, yeah.
2 people a year?
I believe so. And there's a panel. Gregor's on the panel.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So media members discuss it, add them. It's like the first 5 years are probably easy, and then they're going to get into some good debates, I think.
Are they going to do 2 a year forever?
I don't think they have to do 2 a year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's lots they can load up there for the time being. Lots of deserved.
I love that Lee Fogland was the first guy inducted because Gretzky insisted.
Oh, it's
so classy.
The way it should be.
That's one thing about Gretzky that I think as time goes by, we may not remember is just the countless classy acts that guy's done. Gretzky is a class act in a world where you don't see that anymore. In a world of Zion Williamson's Wayne Gretzky's just not a class act.
Well,
Getting all the paper and won't hang out with anyone in New Orleans. Don't get me started on that.
There is different names you could have thrown out there today.
I saw a documentary about him today. I'm trying to learn more about sports, Connor.
Well, Lara says, how dare you, Sully MAB, for Rollison sliding 3 feet past the post and exposing his knee.
Is this an MAB apologist? There's like 3 in the world, and he texted in.
Molar is one of them. Smeed was part of the trade with Pronger. There you go. Yeah. Well, that's a really good text. Something I can't say. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the texts come in here. They're just not radio appropriate. If we were on a podcast, if I was like, Declan, take us off the AM feed, I'm going straight streaming, I could just read these. But I don't know how to do that. I don't think it's even possible for that. There is a way to do it, but we're not going to.
It's a joke between you and the listeners.
Yeah, they get it. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll jump back into the inbox. Lots of texts coming in here. Keep them coming. 1-833-401-1440. If you're a first-time texter, make sure you give us your name as well. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Hockey is back. And Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
It's the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. For 4 days only, they're extending their VIP offers to everyone. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, bedroom, and dining. Save up to 40% off mattresses. And get a 10% credit to use towards sleep accessories. Save up to $1,000 off major kitchen appliances. Up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus VIP in-store only deals on appliances and electronics. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Your furnace can die in the blink of an eye, usually on the coldest night. So why take that chance this winter? Furnace Family, ATCO's newest home service company, can help. Not sure of your furnace's condition? We can check it for free with the purchase of a new furnace, giving you peace of mind and total comfort all winter long. Daikin offers lifetime warranty on their furnace heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. So call Furnace Family, Home Services by ATCO today. Jingle time.
Done right, day or night. FurnaceFamily.com.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Doc, I really want my hair restoration to fly under the radar, but I recently read that men have to shave their heads and go full Lex Luthor before treatment.
The majority of my patients don't require head shaving because we can work around it. I can perform a no-shave FUE transplant or an FUT transplant if we determine that a transplant is necessary. Let's discuss your options.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Use the promo code Gregor and get 20% off your order all day, every day. Use promo code Gregor before entering your order at papajohns.ca.
Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Also, Oilers Nation, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Shout out the YouTube chat. JG9 Raid. That's official Jaguar Gator 9. Thank you guys for joining us on the show. Keep the text rolling in here. We need some positive vibes for the Oilers. Southpaw 11, the Jason Smith chat. We got Jules, T-Man, Danger Suede, Shopcat Industries. A lot of you guys in here enjoying the show. Make sure you hit that like button.
Shout out to my boy Danger Suede live on the radio. That's my dog.
What's up, chat? Hit that like button. We need you to hit that like button. If you're listening on the radio, just keep on listening. The text line 1-833-401-1440. It is the Ewell inbox score. Your power play with the partners at Ewell. Get all your electrical needs at ewell.ca with 24/7 ordering and shipping in Edmonton and across Alberta. And of course, shout out to playalberta.ca. Code word Gregor50 with your deposit. You get a $50 free play. Also, tomorrow, Lotto Max is back. Big number. PlayAlberta.ca. A lot of people loving the Jason Smith talk. Fat Efron also says, you guys really know how to get my shoulders moving in traffic with this song. I always think of Jim and Pam when I hear it. Yeah, Jim and Pam getting married. I think it was the one song they were told not to play, but Michael Scott organized the dance. Wanye, you an Office guy?
I honestly thought those were people that you knew.
No.
I was trying to think of who Jim and Pam
Jim
were.
and Pam.
Well, I know Jim, but I don't.
Jim Halpert? All that?
Yeah. I don't know. Why wouldn't they like that song? What was the problem with it?
I think because before they made it popular with the appearing in the episode, it was like a viral trend that went popular.
I see.
Chris Brown's song. Yeah. Entourage from Calgary says, I bought Gags and Cogs a couple rounds of JD at Oil City after Andrew set the 3-game shorty record.
Unreal.
Yeah, those guys wouldn't even talk to me, but Laddie would.
They wouldn't talk to you?
I didn't really push it. They just walked past me. Laddie was cool because this is when I first started at 1260. And I was like, hey, would you ever do like any radio? And he's like, yeah, man. And he gave me his number. Probably a different number. I got to bring it up to him. Like, I don't see him. He's in Thursdays here, obviously. I don't see him very often because he's usually gone by the time I get here, but it all happened.
One of the first times I was ever in a bar, I saw Marty McSorley. He wasn't with the Oilers at this point. I don't even know if he was playing, but he'd been in Con Air. And I went, hey, Marty, that was so cool. You were in Con Air. And he looked right through me. And I was like, I am never talking to a professional athlete ever again. And I haven't, Con.
They will break your heart. Never meet your heroes. YYC Ryan says, Dustin Penner picked up my brother by the throat and escorted him out of the ranch. Shout out, yo, Corey, if he's listening.
Whoa. What a throwaway. What a great move.
Okay, Dennis Grebishkov. Did he wear number 37?
Yep.
That's who I was thinking of for the 2006 team.
Grebs?
Yeah.
You just forgot about him, or you want to put him on your top team?
I just forgot his name, but I remember him being there. Sorry. Hot Tub says Leon, Connor, Smitty on a line in their prime. Smitty would get 82 tap-ins.
If they can ever get technology to simulate games with all the players that we've loved, I almost wouldn't watch modern day hockey anymore. I just watch games with like Connor to Smitty to Leon. Oh, baby.
Zach also says Mike Pekka could grow a beard in a period. Man, he was clutch in the 2006 run. Very good.
There's so many different all-time lineups you could put together, like best-looking Oilers of all time. That'd be interesting to see. Mike Pekka is an extremely good-looking man. And James Neal was an extremely good-looking person, too, with those teeth.
My wife, not a huge sports fan, but like before every Oilers game, she'll just like, I bring up a question, like, do they ever bring a new anthem singer in? And then last game, who's the best-looking Oilers?
Connor.
Leon and Skinner were the ones we had consensus.
The fact that Connor McDavid A exists and B is an Oiler, he's the best looking human being of all time. I don't want to hear anything to suggest he isn't. Gretzky in his day too, when he looked like Princess Diana.
What's a pretty man?
Unbelievable. What a look.
Northside Mike says Jason Smith could have been a character on Game of Thrones. He was very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have just called him Gator and it would have worked perfectly.
Scariest lineup of all time, you could make one?
Like
Dave Brown,
scary in what sense?
LaRock,
Semenko.
Yeah, like, okay, I guess I'll fight that.
We're just going to throw Big Mac on defense. McIntyre.
Oh, yeah. No, you got to.
Hav says, just regarding the Outlaws is the name for Utah. Brilliant if they want to go with an old Western theme. Oh, you play like the soundtrack from any Clint Eastwood movie?
That is cool.
Little smoke when they come on the ice.
Saloon doors open, the team walks through from the dressing room. That's what I'm talking
They
about.
sell sarsaparilla. Andrew Ferentz, thumbs down. I don't know if that's like in terms for what? Scary or good looking? And why'd you give a thumbs down? Sheldon Surrey was a handsome dude.
Oh, he's on the all-time looker list for sure.
Someone said we're thinking of Matt Green.
One time I saw Sheldon Surrey at the airport get taken around the whole security lineup to get in, and he was so good looking. I thought, you know what? Give it to him. Take him away from us insects.
Leon is no slouch. That might be about good looking Oilers.
He's got very nice bangs. And every year he gets richer, he comes back 2% better looking after summer.
I didn't see the list, but I haven't heard anything about Sam Gagner from Fat Efron. That must be top Oilers of the quarter century. Yeah, I don't think he cracks the list. He was a very good Oiler, though.
You could make like a you love to see it lineup of guys you love to see out there.
Yeah.
And Sam Gagner is on the you love to see
when
it.
He got out there and scored, like on his third stint. Fist pumps from everyone. Michelin says Sheldon Surrey. Matt says Clefbaum stud.
Yep.
Manny says my wife drools for Draisaitl. And Brendan says Sheldon Surrey is my second cousin.
Come on. Did you inherit his looks?
Why wants you to send in a selfie, Brendan?
Yeah. I'll rate you hot or not.
Dennis Bonvie, East Coast good looks from Dave.
And Bonvie could be on the toughest 5 of all time. I can see a case. He's before a lot of people's time now.
Yeah, that's a deep cut for me.
Bonvie was a menace in the best way.
Dennis Bonvie. Here's some numbers for you. Also, side note, if anyone ever has a Cape Breton Oilers jersey, I would love to buy it.
You know, all the computers got together and made an internet, right?
I looked for one. I couldn't find one. Yeah.
Give me 20 seconds.
Check eBay for me. So no, I'm not your boss. If you want to look at eBay, you can. It's cool.
I'm on it.
278 PIMs 1 year, 422, 269, 522 penalty minutes in the 96-97 season, and he had time for 9 goals, 295 the next year, scored 11. Left the Oilers organization, went to Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, shout out the office, 243, 221, 290. Then in 2003, 311. What the heck?
He's a menace, man. Like, he was just putting up crazy numbers.
He was a beast. 5'11", 205 too. Yeah, I remember him from the old Oilers media guides. Didn't play too many games with the Oilers, but that's great. We should try to track him down to get on the show.
Can I interest you in a 1989-90 John LeBlanc Cape Breton Oilers jersey?
How much?
Oh, it's sold.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I teased you. But it was for sale, $298.
Yeah.
Fighting strap, the whole thing.
Wow, I just learned the other day what a deep cut is. So applicable.
Dennis Bonvie?
Yeah. Well, just what that is. Dean McCammond. I think we're now
looking players of all time. Dean McCammond, yeah.
I thought maybe we were just on the random Oilers now. Yeah, he had like the little blonde bangs, right?
He had a mullet the first time it went around hot.
Oh.
Dean McCammond, yeah. Good job. He had like a thin gold chain he'd wear underneath his jersey, and sometimes it'd flink out.
Him and Marius Tchaikovsky.
Ooh, he was pretty good looking too.
Just very quickly, we got to get to break. Declan's going to get mad at me. Evander Kane from Lance, his wife thinks is very attractive. Also, Dean Babymaker, what they called him. Adam says Jason Strudwick with that beautiful hairline. LOL.
Aura Kings, the best auras of all time. I'd put Sam Gagner on there. Struddy's on the all-time Aura list.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Struddy was a vibe. Is
For
the vibe.
sure. Remains.
It remains. We'll take a break. When we come back, more of your text, whatever you guys want to talk to wrap up. We'll get a little Oilers conversation as well. Look at the lineup, what we can expect out of the Red Wings. Also, it's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
When you live in northern Alberta, you need a vehicle that is built for this climate. That's the all-new 2025 Jeep Compass, and you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Now, what can I say? It's a Jeep. It's a 4x4, so it's totally at home driving on snow and ice. And it's got some great standard features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, keyless entry, and heated front seats. As I said, Northern Alberta, and all starting from just $34,900. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Commissioner Allen Auction's public unreserved heavy truck auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring tandem and single axle trucks including cab and chassis, box and hoists, diggers, day cab and highway tractors, man lifts, pickers, plows, and van bodies. Info at maauctions.com.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Could your school, charity, or community group use financial support with a capital project? Maybe Vision Credit Union can lend a helping hand. Vision proudly offers helping hand grants of up to $10,000 to qualifying organizations for capital projects that benefit our branch communities. Apply by January 31st, 2025 for a chance to qualify. Helping hand grants up to $10,000 from Vision Credit Union. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Commissioner Allen Auction's public unreserved equipment auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring 2 unused 2023 Case SV280B skid steers plus backhoes, forklifts, excavators, graders, LaRue snowblower, snorkel lifts, telehandlers, utility vehicles, plus commercial trailers. Info at
Declan, it is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use code word Gregor50, get a $50 free play with your deposit. Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz, Stephen Kruger, and Liam Peace with you here. Coming up in 12 minutes, we do have pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. The Oilers set to take on the Detroit Red Wings down at Rogers Place. YouTube chat going crazy right now. Everyone's just gushing with good-looking Oilers. We got Shawn Horkov on the looker list. Jarrett Stoll is loved by the ladies. Yeah. Rachel
He did
Hunter,
very well.
Aaron Andrews, Craig Simpson.
He married Craig Simpson?
No, that's just the next one. I just scroll through quickly. Dougie Waite. Dangerous Wade says Nikita Nikitin on the Mount Rushmore of fans.
Shame on you, Dangerous Wade. I see what you're doing.
Well, you know, some people like it. Brandon just says I'm hot because his cousin is Sheldon Surrey.
Wow.
Great hair.
The apple can't fall that far from the tree if that's one of your building blocks.
What about Marc-Antoine Pouliot for the beauties? Doug Waite, top 3 hands down for best looking Oiler and favorite Oiler, also class act. Sat and talked with me for 15 minutes while my dad went to find a pen so he could sign my Oilers flag when I was a kid.
That's
back
unreal.
At the Wham autograph days.
Yes.
Those are the stories. Jason Arnott for lookers.
I mentioned it when we were at break. Like Jason Arnott back in his day was a phenom with the Edmonton ladies. Everybody wanted to talk to Jason Arnott.
Good hair, cool chain. 37 straight man here. was Team Dean McCammon.
It ain't about being straight or not. It's about appreciating a beautiful Oiler in a jersey.
That's it. That's exactly it. Okay, here we go. J-Max says, when I lived in Hamilton, I worked with Jeff Dawes' wife, Lynn. One day she asked me to go out with them in Burlington, and I was partying with her Bonvie sister and Passmore's wife. Steve Weiss, Dennis's wife, was just as tough as he was.
Dang, Steve Passmore. That's a deep cut, too.
Well, it's popping up in this show. Tonight for the Oilers. The lineup, interesting, some might say. Every line has a 50-goal scorer. Connor McDavid with Brown and Nuge. Dry with Arvidsson and Podkolzin. Zach Hyman on a line with Adam Henrique and Jeff Skinner. And then Corey Perry with Noah Philp and Matthias Janmark on the back end. Ekholm Bouchard. Nurse Klingberg. Klingberg's been wearing number 36. So watch out for that one. Kulak and Emberson, and then Stuart Skinner getting the start. Between the pipes, his first one since the birth of his second son. Very cool for him. Shane Corson, Jason Arnott, and his Viper. Adam, that's so mean about Matthias Janmark. I'm not even going to read that one.
That's what Arnott drove around in, a Viper.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sven Butenshawn, because I always mention his name when obscure players come up. Yeah, coach out at UBC. Ryan Jones. We try to do like positive things here, and then people are just sending in the not so good looking.
We could do the top 5 Uggos. I'd play that game with you.
Maybe. Brennan also said he saw Coach Kavis Reed at Luna Mexicana restaurant. He was an older guy, talked a lot, and played in the CFL. You know what? My mom, Kavis Reed was at the hospital. My mom worked at the hospital, and she went up to him and asked for an autograph for her son. So I have a Kavis Reed autograph on a random piece of paper.
On an IV bag.
Yeah, he was probably so frustrated. What are we doing here? Jarrett Stoll, Rafi Torres. Arnott was the ugliest Oiler on the inside. Biggest crybaby ever from the Ulsterman.
We're not looking at inside beauty here. What is this?
Yeah.
We're looking at outside beauty.
Straight up. Not deep. Rob says, great show today. Guys, Rob, thank you very much. Appreciate you tuning in. As we always say, if you missed it, podcast, go check it out, or on Oilers Nation YouTube.
Now, before we end this, because you've sent me on a wild goose chase on the internet, I've got you a Cape Breton Oilers jersey.
Okay.
Kim Issel, game worn. Now, who's Kim Issel, you may ask? First round draft pick in 1986, 21st overall. It didn't work out, but his jersey, game worn, is for sale on the internet. Fighting strap, the whole thing.
How much?
$599, and it inexplicably comes with a Craig Fisher card, even though it's not his jersey.
Can't do it.
That's a lot of money, man.
Like, I would prefer to go to a thrift shop in Cape Breton and just try to stumble upon one.
Oh, I see. You're flying to Cape Breton to find a replacement here.
I need to get discount flights.
Sure.
That would be the way to do it. Alfred, which Oiler had the best looking wife? It said hottest, but best looking.
LK1 is the hottest thing that came through this town in 200 years of Edmonton's history.
You've got Connor McDavid and his wife atop the leaderboard.
Indeed.
That's fair. You know what that music means. That's going to do it for us here on the show. Oh, Jochen Hesch getting dropped in the chat from T-Man.
This is much more fun than actual sports.
Great show today. We had a few people bail on us, but we got through it anyways. Larry Murphy, what a beauty. Red Wings analyst, one of the greatest offensive defensemen, one of the best defensemen, bar none, in the NHL. Joined us at 2:20. We had Colton Iwaschuk, Oilers E-Bug. A really cool interview. If you missed that, you want to go check it out because he gave us some great insight. We had Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period, Mark Spector, of course, Wanye, Terry Ryan. Check the podcast if you missed anything for sure. Going to do it for us here on the program. Up next, we got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson for Wanye and Declan and Liam. I'm Connor Halley. We'll do this again tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We hear from Craig Button, Spec, Low Tide, and more on the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by Alberta.ca. Right now, Sports 1440 update from Lakes Heating and Cooling. Home on no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at lakesheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And through Sports 1440 update, 5 games in the NHL at the end of the first period right now. Jets lead the Bruins 2-1. Wild and Canadian, Caps and Senators both tied at 0-0. Lightning lead the Kings 1-0. And Blackhawks Hurricanes both tied at 1. Only other game in the NHL right now with 12 minutes to go in the first period sees the Flyers and Islanders tied at 0. And later today at 7, it's going to be the Edmonton Oilers playing host to the Detroit Red Wings. NBA action around the league right now. 2 games going. Lakers currently lead the Wizards 57-35 in the second quarter. LeBron James leading away with 15.7 assists. Cavaliers up 64-54 on the Hawks. 2:23 left to go in the second. Darius Garland with 16 points. Major news in the sporting world. Right-hander Max Scherzer and the Toronto Blue Jays are in agreement on a 1-year, $15.5 million contract. Up next is the pregame show with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.